Hello everybody and welcome to today's episode. Before we chime in, I do have to apologise. During this episode, you will hear a really weird noise throughout the episode. It kind of sounds like tapping. That's because where I recorded was actually in my kitchen, as it's an in-person episode, and my kitchen table isn't the best, and it picked up every slight movement that me and James ever did, which was kind of annoying. So I've done my best to edit out. It was a lot louder in the raw audio footage. I managed to dumb it down, but I can't get rid of it completely. With that being
Welcome to the Tiger Nexus Podcast, a place where you'll find interviews with content creators and geeks alike. Your host, Ty Tiger, has delved upon the Nexus and found interesting content creators and geeks of all fandoms. This podcast is connected to the Zero Hero Network, and now we dive in with another episode!
Hello everybody and welcome to the Tiger Nexus Podcast. I'm your host, Ty Tiger. Today is a bit of a different one. It's actually for two reasons. The first reason is normally I interview my guest and we talk about their content creating, but my guest today is actually my best friend, and we're actually talking about Marvel and DC and superhero movies and stuff. So it's more of a geeky episode than an interview episode, and that brings us to our second point. My guest today is actually sat right in front of me. I could punch him in the face if I wanted to. I'm not going to, because he'll mostly knock me out, but, you know, I could literally punch him in the face if I wanted to. He's in an arm's reach. So, yeah, this is James. I call him Jay. We've been best friends for like 10 years now, something on those lines, and one of the reasons we actually became friends is Marvel and DC and superhero movies and our love for cinema. So, hi Jay, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm slightly sleep deprived.
We were playing Helldivers 2 the night before, and I live streamed for 3 hours and 40 minutes, and we both didn't get much sleep after, so
Yeah.
we're both running on like 5 hours sleep. So if we sound a bit stoned or knackered, or it sounds like we need an energy drink, that'd be why.
There will probably be a moment in this podcast where Ty asks me a question, and I'm just going to be staring out the window behind him thinking, that house, the roof of that house needs a clean. The whole question just gone over my head, and that's it. He's going to have to repeat it. So, apologies in advance.
Or it might be a case of, I say to him, oh, so what's your favourite, this here, and he'll go, yes, peanut butter sandwiches are not good.
Yeah.
You know. Completely out of context.
I don't think I've ever had a peanut butter jelly sandwich, to be honest with you, not saying it. So.
Right, that's a conversation in itself, bro. What the fuck? Peter Parker would be disrespected. No, I'm joking. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about Marvel, DC, everything in between. How many times have we been to a superhero movie now? Quite a few, actually, haven't we?
It's been quite a lot of them.
Yeah, in the last couple of years for sure. We've done quite a few actually. We said goodbye to the DCEU. We went to its funeral. We went to see Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom.
No one cried. I didn't cry.
There was too much water in the movie for everyone to cry. They already had enough water.
Everyone just didn't really care, to be honest with you.
No.
I didn't care. He didn't care. No one really cared.
Which is a shame, because Jason Momoa has such a blast being Aquaman, and it's a shame that someone with so much love for the character and has such a good time has just been thrown to.
Yeah.
No one gives a flying fuck that he's had to, look. It's the same with Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man and Tom Holland being Spider. It's the same love for the character, but this time around, no one just seems to give two flying.
No
fucks.
one really cares. I think what it is that you can kind of tell that people kind of gave up on the DCU. No one really cared because there wasn't an interconnected kind of vibe going on. Like every MCU movie, you can tell that they're going to lead on to the next one, or even if it doesn't lead on to the next one, this character's going to appear somewhere else.
Yep.
But the time the DCU kind of got around to that and they rushed it poorly, no one cared. No one cared.
It's like, even with like certain characters, let's use Guardians of the Galaxy 3, that ended, and right at the last second it says Star-Lord will return. So even though they haven't made a connection to something else,
Yeah.
it's telling you this character will be back. Don't worry. And like, yeah, you're right. It got rushed. Like, Shazam 2 had Wonder Woman in it for no effing reason.
No.
Like, he died at the end of that film just so Wonder Woman could cut him into the movie. That's literally it. It was a rush. Shazam never even met the Justice League. They introduced Blue Beetle because
they could.
Yeah, because they could. I actually did enjoy Blue Beetle.
Warner Brothers sat there and were like, our bank account needs to take a hit. Churn out one of those DC films. Come on.
I actually enjoyed Blue Beetle. I thought it was pretty fun. It kind of gave me first time superhero vibes, which the DC really doesn't have any of that. Wonder Woman's Wonder Woman by the time her film starts. Batman and Superman are there. Okay, Superman kind of had an introductory movie, but not really. Everyone knows who Superman is. No one has had an introductory, this is how I became a superhero movie, like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, like our heroes in Marvel. So with Blue Beetle, I enjoyed that. A lot of family involved. It's a big family movie. It's fun, it's funny. It kind of brings the Ant-Man, the Wasp, Guardians of the Galaxy type of, stick together vibe, which is fun. And then it ends with a fight between a villain and a hero that have the exact same powers.
It was very basic. If it came out 10 years earlier, I felt it would have done much better.
Yeah, if it came out the same time as Iron Man, Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, that sort of thing, it would have skyrocketed. It'd be one of the best movies around, I think. But yeah, you're right. It came out 10 years too late. That's the problem with Blue Beetle, for sure. I think Marvel, when it comes to movies, Marvel is doing better. Only by Justa at this moment in time.
Well, I mean, going by their track record lately, I don't know. They're pulling some. I don't know what you call it, but they're pulling something, and it just isn't sticking. They're throwing things at a wall with their recent MCU series like She-Hulk. I'm sorry, people like Miss Marvel. I don't see the appeal in. Maybe see the appeal in the character because she is likable. But I just don't see the point of a TV series, for her. Yeah. There's also a TV series as well. I quite like Loki.
Loki was phenomenal. What are you on about, bro? Loki, with the TV shows, they shouldn't introduce characters. That, I think, is the problem.
Yeah.
Because they've introduced She-Hulk, Moon Knight. They've done the Secret Invasion, which introduced a couple characters.
Secret Invasion wasn't Secret Invasion.
No, it's not. And then they introduced, Miss Marvel. They shouldn't introduce characters. And the reason why I say that is this. It is really easy to get a movie character and make a TV show about them. Look at the track record we've had so far. Peacemaker. Knuckles is getting a TV show now. We've got Loki, we've got Falcon Winter Soldier, we've got WandaVision. They've all done really well, and I guarantee now Knuckles is going to fucking hit the ballpark as well. They all do phenomenal, because you're getting a character that already exists in a big movie that everyone spent money to go see, and you're putting in a TV show. Everyone's going to love it. It's more of that character. Introducing a small-time character with a low budget, the MCU TV shows do look pretty good 80 to 90% of the time, but it's a case of how does that translate to the big screen? How does that translate into a movie? I cannot see Moon Knight working in a movie right now, what they've done so far.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel did not work in the Marvels. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. It did not work. And it's stuff like that that's the problem. If you're going to do a big universe thing of your movies and you want to do TV shows, do not make that your way to introduce characters. It does not work.
Well, I mean, you're asking an audience to sit there, put complete faith in, a brand such as Marvel, and be like, okay, so over the sixth episode, which is not a TV series, by the way.
It's too short.
I mean, they're basically asking you, hey, watch 6 hours or near enough 6 hours of this brand new character you may not even like. Mm-hmm. I just find that's a bit too much of an art. They shouldn't introduce characters in a 6 episode, air quote TV series. It's meant to be, if you're going to introduce character maybe in another project, and if people really like that character, branch them off into their own film. Yeah. Or do a special presentation. Do what they did with Werewolf by Night, which is really good. I enjoyed Werewolf by Night just because it was different. Yeah. You had the what was it called? The stone. I can't remember the stone. The name of the stone at the end of it. It went into it went into color, and the main runtime of it, it was black and white. I think that was really clever. I mean, it's not something that we haven't seen before, because other things have done things similar to that.
Yeah.
But it was kind of new for the MCU. We need things like that. If you're going to introduce characters, don't ask an audience to sit through a 6-episode miniseries. An hour is perfectly doable. A 2-hour or an hour and 40-minute film, perfectly doable for a character.
See, I think the best way to explain what we're talking about is Echo and Loki. With Loki, they knew they were going to do a Loki series before Endgame came out. You could see the way that Loki leaves the past in the movie. And with that, they told a story that was strictly to his series, but we all know who Loki is at this point. He's in, 3-4 films? He's in Avengers 1, he's in Avengers Infinity War, and then technically, if you count Endgame, he's in Endgame. So he's in 6 installments of the MCU, which, by the way, from Endgame to Thor 1 to Endgame is a long time. Yeah. That's a lot of years. So, that's a big stretch of time. We all know who Loki is. We love Loki. We love the actor for Loki. So when the Loki TV show comes out, everyone was glued to it. Everyone was curious. Everyone was linked to it. With Echo, on the same coin but flipped. Nobody knew who this girl was. She pops up in Hawkeye. She's kind of the main villain, sort of, kinda. But everyone was like, well, who the fuck is this chick? With Echo, they did a TV show. They dropped all the episodes at once. I actually enjoyed it. Okay, my only gripe is it does have a very MCU, we're all together, we unite and we're stronger bullshit ending. But take that out of the equation. I liked learning about this character. I thought it was fun. I liked the whole learning about the Kingpin being involved with her and how he trained her to be a weapon and how badass she is and all this stuff. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. You got a character who was just there in Hawkeye and did something with it. Yeah. If you want to make TV shows, do that. Give us more of our beloved characters and explain others. That's the best thing to do with TV shows, in my personal opinion. Look at Knuckles. He's only been in the 2nd movie, but he's going to get a TV show because they don't want to do Sonic 3 and use it to explain Knuckles. Alright, cool. Do stuff like that. And this is where things like She-Hulk fail and Miss Marvel fail. And, I mean, I don't know, She-Hulk failed for many reasons.
They made a She-Hulk TV series? I haven't watched that. What are you on about? I didn't know that.
See, with She-Hulk, they try to do Deadpool. That's the problem. Because at the end, she goes into the writer's room and she's like, whoa, hang on. That's Deadpool. Deadpool's done that in the comics. Legit, Deadpool's done that. Deadpool kills the whole Marvel Universe and it ends with him in the writer's room of Deadpool. They're literally drawing his comic book as he walks in. And it's like, you've done that already with a different character. It doesn't work. And it's just like, I think that's another issue with not just Marvel and DC, but I think the fan bases behind them. They keep changing characters for no reason.
Yeah.
They keep just changing things. And it's just like, okay, Miss Marvel, I have a gripe. And me and James had this conversation several times. James isn't a massive comic book nerd as much as me. I think I'm more into the comic books than he is. He's slowly catching up. He's slowly reading some comic books and stuff. But it's just like, take Miss Marvel. She's not Miss Marvel. She's not an Inhuman. She's a mutant, whatever the fuck that means in the MCU nowadays. And she has the wrong powers. And yes, that matters. People keep saying there's 2 reasons why her powers are different. 1, she's not an Inhuman. She's a mutant. Well, your species shouldn't change your abilities. If they wanted to make her a mutant because they wanted to do the X-Men and, the Inhumans have kind of had a bad rap in MCU, sort of, that sort of thing, that's fine. Make her a mutant. That change is okay. But changing her powers is not. And people keep saying the second reason is Mr. Fantastic's on the way. They don't want 2 people with the same powers. My response to those people is Iron Man, War Machine. Ant-Man and the Wasp are in the same flipping movie.
Yeah.
We have Thor and Jane Foster in the same movie. We have characters with the same powers. It exists. Stop using that as an excuse.
If they were that worried about having characters with the same powers, surely they just wouldn't have made Miss Marvel. If they were worried that Mr. Fantastic was on the way, they wouldn't have just made Miss Marvel.
The really annoying thing is, I've seen interviews with the girl who plays her. It's her first acting job. She's never done anything beforehand. She seems really sweet, and you can see the love that she puts into the role and everything. But it's not Miss Marvel. I don't care what people say. It's not Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel has elasticity. She can grow. I think she can shrink. I'm not entirely sure she can shrink, But I know that she can grow big. She's stretching and everything. And I'm sorry, she's now Green Lantern for Marvel. That's what she is.
Well,
the way that they portrayed her powers, she's Green fucking Lantern.
Well, the Avengers game did her better.
Yes, 100%. The terrible Marvel Avengers game made by fucking Square Enix, they Miss Marvel better than the MCU did. How the fuck did that? How is that a sentence we can say nowadays?
It's madness. Like, I mean, out of everything bad that kind of came out of that game, and there was a lot.
Yeah.
Once again, there's a lot of that.
Yep.
It's an ongoing joke. What it is that the story that was told in that game was actually okay. I didn't mind it. I think it was perfectly fine. They got Miss Marvel a lot better.
Spot on. No, spot on. It was spot on. She's a massive fan of the Avengers.
Yep.
Captain Marvel's her favourite one. She then finds out she's an Inhuman and pretends to be a superhero to the point the Avengers recruit her. That is Miss Marvel's storyline. Not all this bollocks where she finds a band and becomes Green Lantern's wannabe. It makes no sense. I'm sorry, Miss Marvel pisses me off for that reason. I don't care if you want to change small things. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man doesn't have web shoot, it's organic. Alright, that was a little weird. Why is it organic? Where does it come from? I'm curious.
I like how they poke fun of that in the way.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah, so like, that I don't mind. The Ancient One is not a woman. It's an old dude with a fucking long ass beard. But it's still the same character. She still has the same role and she still does what she's meant to do. Alright, cool. Do that. But if you're going to change the core of someone's being, it's not the same. People would complain if Spider-Man didn't web swing around and stick to walls and make quips. People would complain if Superman was just a farmer who sat on the fucking bench all day. People would complain if they changed the big-time heroes. I'm bitching about the fact you changed one of the biggest superheroes in the comics. Miss Marvel's huge. She's massive. And that's why it got fucked. Is because they rushed it. They were like, "Hey, she's big in the comics. Let's put her in the TV show," which
She's
doesn't
huge
work.
on both sides. And
yeah, exactly.
Hey.
But like, yeah, Marvel and DC have both been kind of. I don't want to say going downhill. Maybe DC with Marvel, it's not going downhill. It's hit a bump in the road. I think they've stopped caring about story.
Yeah.
That's the problem. They've stopped caring about story. I think the last time they truly cared about a story and not fan base or making money is Far From Home, because that was the end of the Infinity Saga. And they used Far From Home to kind of show off Happy and Peter without Tony and how they're going to deal with it. And that wasn't even that well done in some senses. They should have brought in Pepper, or they should have mentioned Morgan, or whatever the case may be. But like, they cared about Infinity War and Endgame. You can tell. You can see the attention to detail to the point. It's one storyline split into two films, which the MCU has never done before. They never did that beforehand. Avengers 1 and Avengers 2 are two completely different movies. Infinity War and Endgame are technically the same story. They recorded it all in one. They recorded everything from beginning to end all in one. There wasn't a break in between or anything. They recorded all the scenes together. They split it up and went, right, you're getting one film one year, one film another. Because they wanted everyone to talk about it. They wanted the hype. They wanted all this. They wanted to give the fans what we wanted. Thanos being the big bad. And even they changed Thanos. Thanos does not care in the comics about having the popularity. He cares about shagging death. That's all he wants, is he wants death.
I think that's a far less relatable thing to put in.
Yeah, exactly. He wants Lady Death to be in love with him. That's all he cares about. He's actually a ruthless cunt in the comics. Holy crap. But in the movie, he's relatable. And he's good relatable. He's one of the best movie villains I think we've ever had nowadays.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
Well, he is like the modern Darth Vader, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I think he's the next generation of Darth Vader being, he was then, I think Thanos now for sure.
Well, if they actually did spinning off to a different topic entirely apart from Star Wars and DC, Star Wars, DC, Marvel and DC, going over to Star Wars, well, I mean, they could have had something really great with Kylo Ren and they just threw it away. But if Kylo Ren was great, he could have been even bigger than Thanos.
Yeah.
But the fact he wasn't, Thanos is the Darth Vader of this generation. So.
And now we're stuck with trying to introduce new characters, continue storylines of other characters, connect everything together, tell two different major storylines at once, which the Infinity Saga did better, and then do TV shows all at the same time. And it's like Marvel walked into a restaurant and went, I want one of everything, and then realised they're allergic to seafood and milk. And they can't handle it. And it's just like, I don't know how Marvel are going to save their own skin. I really don't. I have no idea.
I think they should have started... I really do think they should have started the next kind of phase of films in perhaps if they really wanted to go to the multiverse, they could have started it with maybe the Fantastic Four, introduce the Fantastic Four early on and say, hey, this is where they've been all this time, and maybe start introducing other characters, but they're not in the 616 main universe. They're in, like a different multiverse and each kind of different film in like phase 4 or 5.
So
in a different universe.
Yeah, so
somehow connect them that way.
The way that I would have done it is have kind of like a how I'm actually use a sports term here, so everyone hold on to your hats. I don't watch sports. Wow. If I get this wrong, hold on to yours. So you know how big sports events or games, whatever, they have like it stops at the halfway point. There's a halfway mark, and everyone's like, right, that's the halfway mark. As soon as Infinity Saga was done, they should have done a phase where it wasn't anything. It's not the Infinity Saga, it's not the Multiverse Saga, it's not anything. What it is a continuation. What is everyone doing after Tony snapped? What's everyone doing with Cap gone? Is Sam going to become the next Captain America? What's Thor up to, the Guardians of the Galaxy? They should do a continuation saga, give everyone their sequels. Do Guardians of the Galaxy, do Captain America, Falcon and Winter Soldier, but he's now Captain America. Do Thor, do everyone that got a sequel, do it. WandaVision, Loki, do all the stuff. But then end it with What If. Then start the Multiverse Saga and do what you said. Because we know for the fact that the Avengers building got bought off. Little things like that you can answer with via the multiverse. So obviously now we know Kingpin's bought it, from Daredevil.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know that yet because the guy that was head of animation and he's now head of Marvel TV or Marvel Studios TV, whatever it is, or one of the heads. Is it Brad Winderbaum? I think it is, something like that. He was like, "Oh, you're going to get an answer to that," and we just never did in the Echo TV series. So I don't know whether he was complete,
trolling or something,
or what. I would like it to be Kingpin, but then I don't really know what Kingpin would do with a tower that.
This is what I would have done. Have the Fantastic Four movie. Do the Fantastic Four movie, like you said, in a different universe. But end it with them turning up in the 616 universe, our main MC universe, and having it so Sue and all that lot are going, Reed, what do? We have no money, blah, blah, blah. And we can go, well, actually turns out money works the same. We actually, technically speaking, I do have money on me. I've just bought us a building. And that's how they get the Fantastic Four in. The X-Men being in a different universe is a completely different kettle of fish, and why the fuck they put that at the end credits scene of the Marvels is a completely... that annoys me!
It's to get bums in seats.
It's frustrating! But anyway, if they wanted to do the X-Men in a different one, Deadpool is the perfect way to do that. Deadpool lands in the 616 and he's like, how do I get home? And he accidentally causes a rift between them or whatever. Do little things like that.
Just mentioning Fantastic Four turning up in the current world and timeline and kind of displaced. I think it would have been such a funny kind of it would be such a 2000s kind of scene, but just Mr. Fantastic walking into some kind of kind of property broker, whatever it is, and then handing this 1960s dollar bill, and they're like,
yeah, but
he's like, you never seen money before.
This is where they need to take a page out of their own book, because if they were going to do the multiverse but drop everyone into the 616 universe or connect it somehow, the lead up to the first Avengers was huge. Yeah. At the end of each movie, we had the connection to the next character. We had Coulson talking about Thor's hammer, which is stuck on the ground. We had, Cap in one end. We had Stark talking to fucking General Ross at the end of the hole. We had all sorts of stuff.
The endless amount of rumours online about is Andrew Garfield Spider-Man going to show up in the Avengers and blah, blah, blah. I remember that being huge at the time.
So,
and it never happened, obviously, but...
So what I would have done is, as the multiverse, as the continuation saga, as I'm going to call it for a minute, would go on, end some of the films with one of the Fantastic Four popping out of thin air, falling out of a portal. And everyone's like, well, hang on, why is Mr. Fantastic at the end of this movie, Johnny Storm at the end of this movie, blah, blah. So when the multiverse saga starts, everyone then finds out why, do the build-up, things like this. X-Men being another universe does annoy me, but the way that they've done the MCU, it kind of makes sense, sort of. Having at the end of the Marvels is just useless, but anyway. But they could have done things like, people want to see, so for example, we had the Illuminati in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Give them a film. Have Professor X, Black Bolt, that version of Captain Marvel, that version of Carter, which I actually liked seeing her as Captain Carter. It was actually really cool watching What If. Seeing her in live action was awesome. She was on screen for 3 minutes, got her ass handed to her, but it was awesome. Yeah. Give us an Illuminati movie. So when you do Doctor Strange, where he's flying through the thingy, and there's Illuminati, everyone's like, oh, it'd be kind of cool if you had a movie with them. Ta-da! You've got your movie. And then they're building up to Secret Wars, which is where the universes fight each other. In the comic books, one of the old versions of it is the Ultimate Universe versus the normal 616 universe, which is one of the best fucking stories ever. I love it. Some of the iterations of it as well, and they're going to fail. MCU is going to fuck up because we don't have a multiverse. We don't have one. How can we have a Secret War storyline, which is universes versus universes, when we don't have any other universes? Oh wait, no, sorry. They've done What If, which apparently isn't continuity to the MCU. Apparently it doesn't. It's not linked to the MCU.
It's its own thing.
Yeah, and then they've given us the X-Men, which is one tease. They have not once said there's going to be an X-Men film before Avengers. How the are you going to do? Oh wait, no, sorry, Deadpool. But the whole thing for Deadpool is he's transferring from the Fox universe to the MCU universe, because if Marvel came out and said Deadpool 1 and 2 don't exist, he's just here, everyone's going to lose their effing minds. Yeah. Marvel would go bankrupt. They wouldn't even make any movies. So that's why they've done it. To please people.
Are so beloved. Well, I think the first one more than the second one, those people, but everyone.
I think the issue with the second one is they copied jokes without copying jokes.
Yeah.
They had Deadpool be a bit creepy in both films. They had Deadpool lose a limb somehow in both films and grow him back, and then making it weird, Deadpool's tiny hand and he makes the penis joke, and then he's got the little legs and everyone's like, whoa, hang on, It's the same joke without making the same joke. It's like me copying your homework and then changing my name and changing the word so it looks like I sound dumber. That's literally what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I think that's the problem. But yeah, Deadpool 1 and 2, you're saying Deadpool 1 and 2 are top, they're some of the best mutant movies we've got.
Yeah, I'd say so. I love like the kind of the old 2000s X-Men films.
Agreed.
I'm not too big on the newer ones, like X-Men vs.
Should have stopped at Days of Future Past. It should have stopped there.
Yeah,
that was really good. Days of Future Past was fantastic, but the fact that they used that to swing into this new reboot, whatever the hell it was, you can't even call it a continuity because it makes no sense because each film has 10 years between them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think whatever they do going forward with the X-Men, I don't think they're ever going to get a perfect casting because they're always going to be compared to what was before.
With the X-Men films, I think the issue is it's almost like between Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, and Dark Phoenix, it's like they were playing Chinese whispers with each other. So one film went to the other film, and then they had to translate it to a screen. It's not going to make any fucking sense. There's no communication. And, I think that's the problem. They should have looked at what they've made and then done it. Because there's things like, Wolverine pops up. Is it Dark Phoenix Wolverine pops up? Where he's got the thing over his eye and he breaks out and helps out the... is that...
No, it's not Dark Phoenix.
Is that Apocalypse?
It might have been. I can't quite remember. I've only ever watched all of those films, once. Whereas, like,
well, it happens in one of the films.
The early 2000s X-Men films, like with Patrick Stewart and everything, I watched multiple times.
It happened in one of the movies, Wolverine did it, which then breaks continuity with X-Men Origins, which apparently is canon. And then you got things like, the way that Scott and Jean meet, you got the way that Beast is around, Mystique being part of the X-Men, but yet she's such a big villain in the first movie, and the only interaction they properly had is Mystique pretending to be one of the girls to try to sleep with Wolverine in X2. That's literally it. That's one of them. That was the biggest interaction she had with one of the X-Men characters. But apparently, she knows half of them as part of the team several years ago. What the are you trying to fucking pull? Yeah. That makes no sense.
No.
They should have just gone, we're rebooting X-Men.
Yeah, but
because even Transformers, I hate to bring something else into it, we've done Star Wars, why not Transformers?
Got on full geek.
Yeah, like they did Bumblebee, but they have not once said Bumblebee is Michael Bay's Bumblebee. They just said they're doing a soft reboot. They said a soft reboot. They haven't said it's Michael Bay's Bumblebee.
I'd rather watch Bumblebee over any of the
Michael Bay's. But like I'm just saying that it's they're not saying that Rise of the Beast and Bumblebee are the prequels to Michael Bay's first one. They haven't said that. They said they're the soft.
But they haven't even said that Bumblebee is connected to Rise of the Beasts.
I think they have.
Have they?
I think so.
Oh, maybe I missed out on that. But no, I
could be wrong, but I think they have actually said that they're kind of connected in some way.
I don't know.
But you see my point. They should have just rebooted X-Men and gone, this is your new X-Men. I mean, they're about to do it the MCU. They're literally rebooting X-Men now. Which, again, is the end credit scene of this sequel to Captain Marvel. It's just, I don't understand.
What, the film that was like, oh yeah, she's really popular. She made over $1 billion in box office revenue.
Which, how the fuck she does that, I don't know.
And then they didn't have the balls to title it Captain Marvel 2 because she's not likable enough.
Okay, so here is the question for you. When it comes to Captain Marvel, we had Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? Yeah. Captain Marvel, Endgame. In my personal opinion, they should not have done Captain Marvel as a movie. Nick Fury presses the button at the end of Infinity War. He drops, he dusts. It has the Captain Marvel logo. There's nothing. Endgame happens. Hang on, Endgame happens. They're fighting Thanos, big ship, belittling everything, and then wham! This woman comes out of nowhere and saves the day. I think they should have done that.
I think.
Opinion, please. I want to hear your thoughts on the Captain. Like, just eradicate. Just bringing her in a movie makes some sense. It would have been so hype if she just turns out of nowhere, obliterates Thanos' massive ship, and stands and goes, "Yeah, try me on the fucking side, little git." It'd be so cool. But no, they had to explain her first.
It would have been really cool because that whole, when he uses the pager, and kind of activates, and you see the Captain Marvel logo. I think for people in the audience would have been, if you know, you know.
Yeah, if you know, you know, yeah.
And people are like, oh, I wonder if they're going to do that. And people that are completely oblivious and they don't know what that is, they're going to be like, I don't know what that is. And then whether you know that or not, you're going to get that answered in Endgame anyway.
Because one thing they could have done, it's really simple, have a throwaway line. She's kicking the crap and aliens down and stuff. Spidey could be gone, oh, who are you? Or Iron Man could have gone, oh, who are you? And Captain Marvel gone, Nick Fury called. And then pan on her logo, her chest plate, pan on her whatever, and everyone will be like, oh yeah, that's really, exactly. Captain Marvel movie makes no sense. Like, I don't understand. And like, with these sequels, and this is the issue with the MCU, and I've said this before, and our friend Chris has actually gone, oh yeah, fuck, at me. There's no such thing as a trilogy in the MCU or a set of film. There isn't. There's no such thing. Iron Man 1, 2 and 3. Now Iron Man 1 and 2 are connected because they're in the same phase. That's very easily watched. That's about it. You cannot watch any film in order now because you watch Black Panther 1 and 2 as a duo film, you'll be so effing confused. Spider-Man 1, 2 and 3. 2 and 3, you could watch together because they literally take place within a couple of days of each other.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Thor 1, 2, 3, and 4. Holy crap! You're gonna be so effing confused. 1 second he's like, he's this
He's
dickhead who learns. Yeah, he's experienced and stuff. Second, he's now kind of flirting with Jane, even though he said that he'd see Jane again. That was also kind of. Third film, he's in space. Fourth film, he's now upset because none of his friends around him, for some reason, the Guardians of the Galaxy are there.
And for some reason, he becomes a dad.
Yeah, like it's hard to sit there and say that the MCU is fantastic, because Infinity Saga, I can name 2 films that are a bit meh. 2. That's it. The rest of them are okay, good, phenomenal. Holy crap, I've just shit my pants because it was that fucking epic. One of those 4.
I do that on the occasion anyway.
Yeah. So like, it goes from okay, you can watch it again, it was fine, to holy shit. It's one of those. So there's 2 films which is Captain Marvel and Thor the Dark World, in my personal opinion. Thor the Dark World it was the villain. He shouldn't have. He's a fly on the wall. That's it. With the multiverse saga so far, it's all over the place.
There's no one connecting thread, is it?
No, there's like
up and down.
People complaining that there's 2 storylines. The Infinity Saga, 2 storylines. We've got the Infinity Stones, and then you've got the rise and the fall of the Avengers. They're the 2 storylines. I don't like Thor: The Dark World, but it has its importance because it introduces the Reality Stone, one of the big factors of Infinity War and Endgame, where Captain Marvel does not have a standpoint. No, they only did it to literally explain a character they didn't need to explain. Because I'm sorry, they brought in the Falcon in Captain America 2 without any explanation. You meet Sam once in the beginning. On your left, on your left, on your left, on your left. That's a running joke. Alright, cool, that's kind of funny. Which has an important...
It's literally a running joke.
Yeah, and then right at the last second, we don't know how we're going to capture this guy to get information. Well, I could help. How could you help? Look at this piece of paper the audience can't see. You don't know anyone knows what it is. I thought these were banned. Yeah, they kind of are, but I can kind of get the suit. Woof! Falcon's in. Alright, that was kind of cool. I love Falcon. I think and we've never had any explanation who he is, what he does, or anything like that. He's just there. And from that point on, we still don't know anything. Oh wait, no, sorry. We only got a sister and nephews. But that's just character building, that's all it is.
Yeah,
it's a growing point, not a pass point. We do not need explanation for everybody.
That is something that I never thought about. Captain Falcon. That's completely something else.
Captain Falcon. Hang on. We brought Star Wars. We brought Star Wars and Transformers. We can't bring Nintendo in this now.
I mean, he technically is Captain Falcon.
He is literally.
He technically is.
Literally Captain Falcon now. Yeah, it's true.
But Sam Wilson, he didn't get his own film.
Nope.
He was just there. He just appeared.
Yep.
That's fine. People aren't
War Machine. Exactly the same.
People aren't idiots. They understand that this is a new character. Give him a bit of background here and there, establish him as time goes on. That's how you do it. You don't need to give the person their own TV series, their own film.
Yep.
Like, the way, going over to DC for a second, the way that Superman Legacy, or now Superman, he's renamed it to just Superman for some reason.
Yeah, I like the name Superman Legacy. I thought it was kind of cool. This, for instance, Superman 1, 2, 3, 4 returns Man of Steel, so...
Yeah, I mean, like, with that, he's introducing, a plethora of other superheroes.
Hawk Girl, Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, Lex Luthor, Lois Lane, Superman. I'm missing like half the cast.
Yeah, it's like people will accept it. They go, "Oh, okay, these are just other heroes that exist in this world. That's fine." Like audience, cinema goers and audience members have come a long way in kind of, because for the past 10 years plus, we've had a whole load of DC films, a whole load of Marvel films. It's become the norm. So kind of putting a film out these days like goes, here's a bunch of these characters in this film, and they pre-exist without any prior knowledge. People will be more accepting of that now. In 2008, 2007, probably not. But these days, you can do it, and I think you'll be able to get away with it.
Well, no, see, because there's 2 ways you can handle someone's backstory. One, if it's a major superhero, do an introductory movie. Look at some of Marvel's best films. Iron Man 1, Captain America 1, The Avengers, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Spider-Man Homecoming. Introductory movies. Ant-Man 1 was phenomenal. They explain how they become a superhero. This is why I kind of enjoyed Blue Beetle, because it gave me that feeling of Ant-Man 1, Black Panther 1. That's why I enjoyed Blue Beetle. Then you've got films that just here you go, have a bunch of characters. We'll explain shit later. Guardians of the Galaxy is that.
Yeah.
They gave you, so there's Star-Lord, Gamora, Groot, Drax, and Rocket. 5 characters. They gave you 5 characters and gone, here's 5 characters. Deal with it. And then what they did is Guardians of the Galaxy 2, oh look, the big bad is connected to Peter Quill. Then Guardians of the Galaxy 3, oh look, the bad guy's connected to Rocket. And it was, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is one of the best films I've watched in ages. Holy fuck, what? I was actually crying in the cinema, for crying out loud.
Yep.
And I've never, Endgame was a gut punch, but it didn't make me think, holy shit. It did, but this is a one singular movie, it isn't a big team up with everything. This is one singular film, and it made me go, holy crap.
Yeah.
Rocket's been around just as much as Aunt May's been in the MCU, and Aunt May's death did not make me feel the same way
it was
Rocket's past tense storyline did. Holy crap. And this is why I have hope for James Gunn and DC, because he's now given us Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 3, and the Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't do number 2, did he? I like all 3.
Wait.
Did he do number 2?
Do number 2 of what?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, he done all 3.
Did he?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he done all 3.
Okay.
That's his trilogy. That's
Right.
precisely why when he got fired, no one said, literally everyone was like, we're not touching that, that's James Gunn's thing.
Yeah,
That's literally why.
I didn't think he did number 2. So he did all 3 Guardians of the Galaxy films, which as a trilogy is pretty solid. And he did the Suicide Squad, which is so much better than the first one. Because again, like you said, people aren't done. Here's a bunch of characters, deal with it. We've got a storyline, we're telling the storyline, shut the fuck up and watch it. It's not that hard. And all 4 films are actually pretty darn fucking good, with Guardians of the Galaxy 3 being phenomenal. It's not difficult. With the Marvels, what they could have done is keep whatever the fuck Rambo is actually called. Photon? Yeah. That's fine, because you introduced her in WandaVision. Bring her into the film, if you really had to do that, that's okay. She has a connection to Captain Marvel, it makes sense. With Miss Marvel, it's not fucking difficult. At the end of a movie, you give us an end credit scene where Captain Marvel goes to use her powers and she shifts into Miss Marvel and she's like, shit. Done. That's all you need to do. Do that. The reverse of the end credit scene for Miss Marvel. Just do that. Just a reverse of it. Then in the Marvel movie, start off with Miss Marvel. She's already Miss Marvel. She's already a superhero. She's trying to be a superhero. She hasn't got there yet. She's fucked up a few times. And all I'm saying is this. We've had monologues. Iron Man 3, the entire storyline is Tony Stark telling a story to Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So it's okay if the film starts with, a monologue from whatever fucking act. What is Miss Marvel's name?
Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
Oh no, Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Do you ever wonder what would happen if
you give a dad a podcast.
Hello, all my beautiful people.
Mom, I'm not going to college like we planned. I'm going to take a couple years off. I just gave all my college money to this professional wrestling promoter, and I'm going to be a big superstar one day.
I'm a human and I'm a chiropractor.
I wasn't about to call you dad, so
I'm what you call a nerd fan.
And the Monos Chronicles, the new web series that I'm working on.
We inadvertently made that kid cry. We didn't mean to.
I mean,
people get really mad at those videos for some reason. Like it triggers certain people. Yeah.
First tryout, made the team, made starting position. I was right guard for a little while.
Hey Jared, that swerve I was going to tell you about, here it is.
It's going to be from a nerdy dad's point of view.
Get starstruck. It's not a big deal, man.
I am being starstruck.
I made a really good career out of being able to bump, sell, and I had a punch me face.
That's why they call it If You Give a Dad a Podcast.
Exactly. Available everywhere podcasts are found.
I don't know.
What's her name? Oh my god!
I can't remember, to be honest. I know that
Kamala Khan.
Right. I know Captain Marvel is Carol Danvers.
Yes.
That's why I got confused because they're so close.
So this is something else as well. Scenes paint a picture for people. It does. Little scenes paint a picture for people. Look at Homecoming. What happens to Peter in the first 10 minutes? Absolutely fucking nothing. You see him bored. You see him sat there. You see him tie a bike to a post with a letter. You see him literally stick a robber to a web. That's it. You see someone going, "Hey, do a flip." It paints a scene that Peter hasn't got anything to do. So when Vulture, I was not say Falcon then. When Vulture, same guy,
completely different film.
Well, no, Doom and Wing, same character. When Vulture turns up, we now understand why Peter's so like, yeah, I'm gonna go fucking get it. Yeah. We now understand because you've given us 5 to 10 minutes of showing us why. With Miss Marvel, give us a couple minutes of a monologue where Miss Marvel's like, I'm trying to be a superhero, I'm trying to do it, I failed a few times. Give us a couple scenes where she's gone to swing for someone but missed and blown up a car or something on those lines. That's all we need. We don't need a waste of 6 episode miniseries explaining fucking nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Because literally nothing builds up.
I think that's the issue of most of these Disney Plus series, that it feels like a whole lot of nothing happens.
Echo.
Yeah.
Echo was an explanation series, and Kingpin at the end watches the whole mayor debacle, and everyone's like, well, now we know what Kingpin's
He just kills it in that role, man.
We now know what Kingpin's going to be up to. If you're going to a TV series, give us characters that already exist and explain more. That's all TV shows have got to be.
I mean, to be fair,
it's painful.
I did mostly just watch Echo for D'Onofrio.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
Like, he is...
And the one fight scene with Daredevil in it.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was in the trailers.
Yeah, that was decent. But, you know, it's not as well choreographed as, like, the Daredevil stuff was, but it was okay. It was fine. But no, I just find when it comes to a lot of these Disney Plus series and stuff with Marvel, yeah, it's all in a bit of a mess right now. Hopefully they can pick it up.
Because, like, with Moon Knight, I love Moon Knight as a character. I really enjoyed seeing him on the screen. It could have been a movie. It could have been a movie.
And what we saw there wasn't truly Moon Knight. You know, it should have been a lot darker. It should have been... I think it should have leaned into the psychological themes a lot more.
Yep.
And therefore, that's making that a hell of a lot darker, you know, kind of thing.
So, with the whole blanking out and then, you know, he's got a dude by the throat or someone's dead or whatever thing they did, with a movie, they could have done this thing where throughout the entire film, that happens. We don't get a lot of fight scenes throughout the film. But the last fight scene, something happened. You see the whole camera shaking and everything. And it's not Mark. And it's not Steven. They don't talk. They're blank-faced. You know it's someone different. And they go ham. And you see them kick the crap into people. And then it does the whole camera shake thing again. And then it's Mark or Steven. And they're like, whoa, what happened? And then that builds up to the second movie. Everyone's like, whoa, what was that? Holy crap. What was that, a third personality? I don't know what that is. And then second at the end credit thing, do Jake
Lockley.
Do Jake Lockley. And everyone's like, there's a third personality. Holy shit. Second movie comes, you've now got your plot for the second film. It's not difficult. You know, things like Loki should have been a TV show. They did it once a week. There was build up. They introduced the whole Sylvie Loki chasing thing. It was fantastic. WandaVision, kind of confusing on why it was like 20 minutes long, 30 minutes long, 20 minutes long, 40 minutes long, 20 minutes long. You know, I don't understand that. But the idea of the episodes worked. We had her in the 1960s. We had her in the 1980s. We had her like present day. It was kind of cool. I liked it. It was cool. You know, bringing back fucking Quicksilver and it not being Quicksilver just for a boner joke was the dumbest thing ever.
It created a lot of buzz, though.
Yeah, like boners do.
I needed sex joke on the podcast. Just out there, plain and simple, for everyone to see. You know.
Hey, if anyone's listening to this and they know me, they know that was warranted.
But yeah, no, I understand. It was a total waste of opportunity. But I do, going back to like 2021, when WandaVision came on,
yep,
all locked in because of COVID and stuff. and the amount of buzz that TV series got on Twitter.
You know, is Mephisto the bad guy? You know, is Wanda delusional? Is she in a mental institution? Is Vision actually Vision? Have they brought back Vision? You know, all this stuff. It was literally Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It was everything. It was the thing. Even if you weren't a Marvel fan, you knew what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
You know, it was the thing. 110%. 110%.
We yet to see Sony replicate something like that.
Madam Web's spin-off TV show, One of the Girls.
Please, done. We sat through, like, was it 1 hour, 40 minutes? And I was like, no, I'm done. I don't want to see that ever again. Thank you very much. But the amount of cool memes that have come out of that film is fantastic.
So, yeah, let's dive into the Sony stuff a minute. Venom was brilliant.
Yeah.
And see, okay, so this kind of brings me back to my earlier point. Certain characters you can't do and change a lot of stuff. Venom should be one of those characters. In the comic books, Eddie Brock loses his job thanks to Peter Parker. Peter Parker realizes Eddie Brock is faking his images, tells the boss, or JJ, whatever you want to call him, and Eddie loses his job. He gets into trouble, all that sort of stuff. He's now annoyed. He wants Peter dead. At the same time, Peter rips off the Venom symbiote. Venom symbiote is like, hey, you're a strong host. What you doing? We work well together. Fuck you then. Links to Eddie. And now it gets personal. It was one of his biggest... Like, when it comes to villains, it's personal villainy. Venom isn't evil to rule the world or to steal money. He's evil to get Spider-Man. That is it. He wants Peter Parker dead. There's nothing else. They somehow made a really good film without Peter Parker. There's not a Spider-Man logo, there's no Peter Parker, there's no hate, there's nothing. But somehow, it was really fucking good. Venom was a good film.
I think it helps that Tom Hardy is so likable.
Yes, he's fantastic.
You know where he's like strapped to the chair or the table, and the bad guy comes and walks, and he's like, he says something, and he turns into Riot for a split second. He's like, he's got one up his ass too.
Yeah. So, like, you know, you've got all these like redeeming qualities. Okay, the last fight scene did look like someone painted a paint balloon and then another one and threw them at each other and watched the explosion and went, right, that's our fight scene. It does kind of look a bit of a mess, but the storyline's fantastic. And then Sony went, ooh, look, the characters we have from Spider-Man make money, let's do more. And then everything just tanked. Everything just tanked. Morbius pisses me off, right? This is the thing. Morbius, the first half of Morbius is good. In the sense of, one, they got the storyline spot on. He's ill, he's fucked, he needs to find a solution. He finds out there's vampire bats, he links the blood, and he becomes a vampire. Two, he looks good. The way they did Morbius's face and his ears, he looks like Morbius. I was actually scared that he wouldn't look like Morbius. If you take the 90s cartoon Morbius from the 90s cartoon Spider-Man and then look at the movie, okay, yeah, you can tell it's CGI. Fuck that for like, I'm sorry. There's worse things out there that look even worse. But he looks like Morbius. And then the way they've done his abilities, echolocation and stuff, that is, visually, it's very pleasing. Then they did the villain and everything went downhill. That's the issue with the movie, is Matt just did not make a good, compelling villain.
What's wrong with Matt Smith dancing shirtless to a really weird...
Okay, no, right, okay, I'm glad you brought that up. If you watch the film, and so many people can disagree with that, I don't care, that seems valid.
Out of context, it's really...
Out of context, it's really strange. But no, in context, it makes sense. You haven't watched Morbius.
No.
You don't give two flying fucks. So I'll explain. You've got two boys with the same disease. They're walking with walking stick. They can't even stand straight. They're literally wobbling around everywhere. One of them is flipping smart. Genius. Wins awards. The other one isn't. The other one isn't smart. He lives his life strapped to a bed. He's got no life. So when Morbius suddenly walks around happy and jolly... He's like, well, what the fuck are you doing? Give it to me. And Morbius is like, no. Obviously, he can't tell him why, because he has to drink blood. He has to kill people. It's a horrible connection to it. So when he finally gets the ability to dance, to walk, to strut, to jump, what? what's the first thing you're gonna do? You're gonna dance, you're gonna jump, you're gonna strut around. So that's it. Out of context, really fucking weird. In the movie, it makes sense. That's actually one of my favorite scenes when it comes to his character, because it's the only time I'm sat there thinking, yeah, all right, you're actually doing something with the ability to walk. Fair enough. But the rest of it is just bad. The funny thing is, the bad CGI for Morbius's face looks worse on that. It looks terrible. There's a scene where you just find, because he's walking around and everything, and you kind of find out he's now the bad guy. He's walking past this guard, and his face shifts into his van, but just for a split second. Holy crap! A child could edit that better. It looks terrible. It looks like you're back in the 1980s.
Well,
Holy shit!
It's also when he's like dancing for a split second, he kind of like phases in, he does the whole thing, or he flexes, and
it looks bad. It's
very
but
strange.
And like Morbius does Kamehameha with bats. That's the final attack that kills the vampire. He literally stands there, he's floating in the sky, bats swarm around him, he literally puts his hands together, bats swarm into a ball, and he does this like hami move thing, and I'm like, I didn't fucking realise Morbius became a Super Saiyan. What the fuck? Like, it makes no. And then we have, of course, Let There Be Carnage, which, by the way, was Let There Be a Waste of Time.
It wasn't great at all.
What was Let There Be Carnage?
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking.
So here's the thing, right? In the 2000s, sequel superhero movies did this thing where people lose their powers. Spider-Man went through a midlife crisis, lost his abilities for a couple of days. Fantastic Four, Johnny was able to swap abilities, they lost their powers. All sorts of stuff. Everyone did it. Iron Man 2, he has to remodel his suit because he's dying because of it. It happened. It just, people, Batman Dark Knight, which is the sequel to Batman Begins, he stops being Batman. People just stop being superheroes in one way or another. So Venom Let There Be Carnage was just like, hey, what year are we? 2008, right? Yeah, okay, we'll just do that.
Yeah,
and it's like, why?
It felt like a really bad return to like the really kind of early like 2000s superhero films in a really bad way. And it was like, what happened between? I mean, don't get me wrong, one isn't like a masterpiece, but it was good. It was serviceable. Like the story was decent, and like I found like it funny in places. And then you kind of go from something that was quite decent to just, what were you thinking?
I love Woody. He's one of my favourite actors. I think he's fantastic. If anyone's watched the movie White Man Can't Jump, you'll understand why. He's so good. The day he dies, I'm going to cry. But he does not make a good Cletus Cassidy. I'm sorry, he doesn't. Spider-Man 2, the Insomniac game, we have Cletus Cassidy. He's not Carnage yet, but even he was better than... And he's only on screen for like 10 minutes. Yeah. And he's better than what we got in the Carnage movie.
He's terribly miscast in that film.
But it's not just that, though. They also focus on the girl way too much. Scream, whatever the fuck she's meant to be called. Yeah. Why? What's the point? Get rid of her. She's useless. What's the fucking point of her? Oh, she can scream and hurt you. Yeah, but we don't need that. Carnage is deadly. He's villainous. He's evil. He's nasty, and he links to Cletus Cassidy in the comic books. In one of the versions of the comic books where Cletus meets the Carnage symbiote for the first time, Carnage says to him, "I like you because you're messed up." On some of those lines.
I mean, he didn't need someone to bounce off of. He's a psychopath. He's a serial killer. He will do things. He will kill people because he finds it fun. Kind of thing. He's a bad person.
I saw a post that said, and I agree with this: get rid of the girl and have Cletus Cassidy just talk. Never let you hear the Carnage symbiote. It might not even be the Carnage symbiote, but have it so obviously when Tom's talking to himself, he's talking to the Venom symbiote, and we can hear Venom talking. We know it's in his head. But with Cletus, just have him go, "No, you shut up. No, you shut up. No, you shut up. No, you shut up." We don't know if he's talking to himself or the Carnage symbiote. We'll have no idea, but it will be like something that's building up. Like, is he talking? Is he in link with Carnage symbiote? Is he just fucking nuts? We don't fucking know.
I
build up the fact that he's meant to be insane.
It wasn't R-rated, was it?
No.
So I think, okay, the first film you got away with it, not being R-rated, that's fine. But with the second film, I think they could have leaned into a lot more of the horror side of things.
There's a scene where Carnage is walking through the prison and he's just obliterating everybody. I think there's one or two scenes where you do see like people getting pierced and stabbed and stuff, but it's not gory or anything. And
I mean,
that's a good point to make, because
the gore factor, when I said like R-rated, I mean like the gore factor's fine. You don't have to necessarily have it gory, but having a more mature theme, having it an R-rated or an 18 in the UK would allow you to kind of delve more into the psychological aspect. I think imagery
make
plays
it more
a lot
insane.
into it.
Yeah.
You could have,
which also plays on Moon Knight and other characters like that. You
could have,
it does affect stuff. Yeah,
you
absolutely.
can literally have parts of the film where you don't know what you're experiencing, whether that's real or not.
Yeah,
you can have a scene where he's kind of, I don't know, in an apartment somewhere, or wouldn't be in an apartment, but where he's just kind of held up somewhere. He's talking to himself in a corner, and obviously suspense and music kind of massively plays into it. You don't know what he's doing, and they could. I don't really like jump scares that much, but they can kind of play into the psychological aspect a hell of a lot more, make it a more mature theme when they allow the rating to go up. But because it's kind of strapped to, I think there's a 15 here in the UK.
Yeah,
I don't really know why it wasn't really that. There wasn't really anything that excessive in it. But I do think with like Carnage especially, when he isn't even fighting Spider-Man, when he's just fighting Venom, they could have leaned fully into it.
Yeah,
they could have gone full R rating. R rating doesn't make a film better, but
it doesn't make a film better, but it does open doorways that could make a film better.
Yeah.
So I've actually got a video planned for my level 5 channel where I'm actually rewriting Let There Be Carnage, and I'm going to do a video where like what would I do if I was in charge of writing it. And one of the scenes I've made is where Cletus runs into Eddie and they have a conversation, and Eddie's like, hey dude, like maybe I can help you, maybe we could have this like talk, maybe we could like the symbiote's away, me and you have this conversation, and they become really good friends. And then Cletus like steps on a piece of glass, looks at the glass and sees his reflection shattered, looks up, and he's imagined the whole thing. He's just imagined himself becoming best friends with Eddie. It's not even real, and you're seeing him go nuts. Yeah. And I wrote that scene for my rewrite of Let There Be Carnage because I wanted to build up the whole fact that Cletus' mind is not real.
With something like a scene like you just said, that you kind of drew in my head, like a scene where he's like stepping on glass, you see like a reflection split, and you realise that he hasn't actually been friends with him the whole time. I can actually hear. What's the actor's name again?
Woody something.
Yeah, like I can actually hear his voice be like, "No, we could have been best friends, Eddie," kind of thing. Yeah. Like that whole kind of duality of him being completely and utterly a psychopath and being so alone, and he just wants to kind of connect with someone. But he's never going to be able to fully potentially do that because he's a nutter, and obviously Eddie isn't going to kind of befriend someone that is a complete psychopath. So
I also feel like they keep doing villains and giving them a good reason to do what they do.
Yeah.
So Venom is a bad guy. Now, okay, granted, in the comics now, after 10-15 years of him being a villain, he's now more of an anti-hero. But he does some very big things to get there. He kills the leader of the symbiote. The thing that made the symbiote, Venom's killed it. He actually married Mjolnir, Silver Surfer's surfboard, and then himself with the 2 weapons, and killed the thing that made the symbiote. And now he's an anti-hero. He had to go through all of that. It's an arc to get there, But Kraven the Hunter. It got delayed to August. It's coming out in August. I don't understand. I do not understand. I'm so confused on why we're getting a superhero-esque movie about a guy killing his father's empire. Kraven the Hunter is a hunter. He's not a bad man. He's a hunter. When he finds out there's a human-esque being, apex strength, reflexes like no fucking tomorrow, Kraven's like, well, that's the biggest target a human could kill. Then he finds out he's useless against him. Then he chemicalizes himself, makes stamina and all that, and then he's like, right, well, I'll do any. And then he gets obsessed with it. Then he becomes a bit more of a villain.
He was done so well in Marvel Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. Think of that. He goes around killing the villains and then getting to Spider-Man last, because to him, Spider-Man's the top. That is the peak of humanity. That is the one being that could top everybody. So if he kills it, he's then the best. Kraven wants to be top dog. What the is the Kraven the Hunter movie gonna do? I'm sorry. He gets bitten by a lion. Their blood's fused. And, oh my god, he's stronger. That's not how that works.
Man gets infected by radioactive lion blood. Gets powers that allow him to.
His hair becomes all big and luxurious. He likes his tummy being rubbed.
It's
the Catwoman movie all over again.
Oh no. I forgot it existed. Stop.
I reminded him of that. That's funny. That was great.
No, don't. That belongs in the bin with Van Vorstick. So.
Yes, that does. Yeah. The outfit was nice to look at, but that's about it. That's the best thing about Catwoman.
You're giving me too much credit, even then.
That's true. Yeah. But I don't understand why Sony keep on doing it. Okay, Madam Web was not great. I'll give it 3 good points. 1, she is awesome as a twat to these girls. I love the fact the only time, and this is why I didn't like the ending. At the end, she cared. She wanted to adopt them or whatever. But throughout the entire movie, she's like, right, you shut up. I don't actually care. I'm taking you home. Just sit still. I just love it. I love the fact she does not give a fly. For a protagonist in a air quote superhero movie, that's awesome. We have too many goody two-shoes, rich people trying to do the right thing. We have too much of that. The fact she could not care, she's only doing it to save her skin, I love it. Fantastic. Keep doing that. That was awesome. Second of all, I do like the scenes where... don't like it at the end because she got too good, air quote. I like the middle bit when they're on the train, she's seeing stuff and she's like, right, we need to go this way. Oh wait, no, hang on, we need to go that way instead. And she's now clicked on that her visions might help, but yet the police still try to get her. I like that aspect. That was cool. That's actually one of the fight scenes, whatever you want to call it, that I actually enjoyed. I was like, oh, that actually didn't work. Why didn't that work? She evaded the... That got me thinking. I actually liked it.
You know what I enjoy that film? That news travels so fast that in the same afternoon, the newspaper...
And the third thing that I liked about the movie was that when it came to... Okay, it was kind of stupid, yeah, granted. But there wasn't any superheroes at the end. It was she stood up for herself, the girls stood up for themselves. There wasn't any... we don't need that all the time. Saying that, though, they ruined it by giving us a bunch of scenes, which, by the way, 90% of them were in the trailer, of 3 superhero girls kicking ass. Both times we saw it, there were flash forwards. There were visions of the flipping future. The bad guy... Just by the way, the visuals for the bad guy make no sense because, like, his mouth moves and
Mr. ADR.
Yes. Yeah.
Mr. Walking ADR.
Literally, right. He keeps on talking about his legacy. He keeps on saying the girls are going to destroy... What legacy?
Oh, they're going to destroy my legacy.
You know, me stealing a spider, the one thing I've done in my life. How dare they?
Why does he have to talk this every time that he's on
right
screen?
It's real simple because people don't know how to write bad guys. If you don't know how to write a bad guy, you automatically the big grouchy growly one. Watch Power Rangers, you'll understand it happens all the time. If Power Rangers does a season and they can't think of a good idea why the bad guy's a bad guy, they make them I'm a bad guy because I have this voice. That's it. That's literally it.
You're sounding a bit like Venom.
True. But Joker, the Joker movie. It's not a supervillain movie. He's not actually really Joker. Batman's Joker.
Super anything, is
no, but he's not the Batman's Joker. And I'm not talking about the Batman as the movie. I'm talking about Batman as he's not Batman's Joker, but he's a dick. He's a bad guy. You can see the build up, and then he snaps, and then he does all this horrible stuff. He starts a riot. He does all sorts of things. Why can't Sony take me Marvel? Why can't Sony give us villain movies? Do a Carnage movie, not Venom, a Carnage movie where it's him on the run. We've got give us 2 random police characters that he'll kill at the end. Give them backstories. We actually feel for them when they do die. Make it so he's actually got, I don't know, he kills someone's kid or something. Let him be a psychopathic with a symbiote. Do that, Craven. Let him hunt someone innocent. what's called Split. Let's bring in another flipping franchise. The Split's a fantastic film, and all the way through Split, it's all about him, but he's kidnapped 3 girls. That's the whole drive of the movie. He's kidnapped 3 girls. That's the whole thing. His therapist, the police and everything, are trying to get him to, and he's like, no, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to get the beast, this big version of me wants to kill him. And he ends up, I think he actually does kill 1 or 2 of them or something like that. Let Craven do some of those lines. There's a being out there who's stronger than him, he wants to go kill it. That's the movie for Craven. It would be better.
The thing is, they haven't quite grasped onto the fact that Sony haven't quite grasped onto the fact that they're creating villain films. Not every villain needs to be, you don't have to actually understand what they do.
Yep.
Villains, especially with Carnage, as we were saying earlier, he does what he does because he finds it fun.
Yeah.
He will kill
it's
because he
his
wants
name.
to.
He likes Carnage.
Yeah. They don't have.
They don't need a back.
You don't have to have a Thanos every time.
No, you don't. You don't need a backstory for every villain. We've had good villains that have stood out, and it works. We've also had really good villains that we only get the backstory once. It's a snippet. I'm going to use Killmonger here for an example. Fantastic villain. I don't care what anyone says. Killmonger was awesome. I loved him. He was great. One piece of dialogue that explained who he was. That's it. It was one line. It was him explaining it to the rest of the characters. That's it. The rest of the time, it was him being a twat. And he's one of the best villains we've had in a superhero movie that wasn't a big, collab of all the characters together. Ultron didn't even have a backstory, and people want him to come back. That's how good Ultron was done.
I think they should bring him back.
Yeah, so do I. And things like this. Villains don't need, the villains can be one-liner descriptions, stuff like this. We don't need to see how Craven becomes Craven. We don't. Let him be a hunter. Let him hunt
they
something.
They also do a lot of just telling and not showing,
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
And that makes you feel a hell of a lot less for any character, no matter what it is.
Yep.
Now in Madam Web, you had the 3 girls, and obviously they're all kind of not really loved to a certain degree.
No, they're all delinquent. They're all a bit rebellious because they don't have families, and they're a bit outcasted.
Like Sydney Sweeney's character, like we kind of learn that eventually. This is spoilers for Madam Web. I don't think anyone really cares.
We've talked too much about Madam Web already. It's a bit too late for that.
Anyone really cares at this point because it's terrible. But her character was like, my father. Our mum got admitted into like a psycho hospital.
Yeah, so she keeps on saying that she was going to run to her mum's, and then as the film progressed, she kind of said no, she's just going to run away, and then it explains why she's going to run away. That her mum's like gone nuts. She didn't want her as a kid. They had her too young, whatever. She didn't want her, so she kind of went a bit loopy. Yeah. And then her dad doesn't give her any attention because he got with a new woman and they had another kid. Yeah. And so she's just outcasted.
Yeah.
And you're right. All 3 of the girls' backstories are explained, not shown, and that's the
if they were shown that, just little bits here and there, 1 or 2 minute scenes, and we just kind of show that, you kind of go, oh, I actually kind of feel why she wants to run away, kind of thing. Just show us. Don't tell us through dialogue, because that connects us more with the characters.
So
at that point,
the half-caste girl, I don't remember their names. She said that her dad was deported. That's why she's by herself.
Yeah.
So we do actually see her. We see all 3 of them in the beginning, and when we see her, it's actually the landlord banging on the door, and he's like, "Hey, I need my rent," and she's like, "Oh no, Dad's out at the minute." It's really quick and simple. Change it to, "Oh, sorry, Dad's asleep. He's not feeling great. He's a bit ill. He'll talk to you tomorrow." Close the door and have the scene where she walks through the apartment and no one's there.
Yeah.
Have it so the apartment she's by herself. And then have her phone go off and her friends are like, "Oh, what you up to?" She's like, "Oh, I'm just caring for Dad." No, she had her name. She just sat there. That's all you need to do. That builds up tension. Why is she lying? Where's her dad? Blah, blah. So when she comes out with, "My dad got deported, I'm by myself," we're all then going, "Whoa, okay, that's a bit dark, isn't it? Holy crap." We're not sat there thinking, "Oh, fucking finally you say something actually decent."
Oh, I wonder why you wouldn't write this
because this is the issue as well, though, because they change. The blonde-haired one, she's like the smart one, the one that wants to listen, the one that wants to do what she's told because she actually has some common sense, yet then she dances on the table with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
How does that make any sense? Yes, I'm the smart one, we should listen to her, but first off, let me boogie. You know, like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, no,
like,
there's a lot of questionable things in that film.
Mate, there's a lot of questionable things in Sony in general when it comes to that movies. What are you on about? You know? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I feel like when it comes to Madam Web, there's two versions of Madam Web. We got Cassandra Webb, who becomes the old lady with the band across her face. She's blind, she's disabled, and she's like clairvoyant to the multiverse. She helps out Spider-Man. Then there's another Cassandra Webb, and I could be wrong, but I think she's her daughter. I could be wrong on that, but she's the ultimate version, and she wears a red coat. She's pretty badass, and she's only been seen like 3 times in the Spider-Man Spider-Verse comic books. That's it. The issue with...
I like how the film actually forgot that she was meant to be blind. So
well, no, that's kind of my point. Yeah, right, so that's kind of my point. It's the way that the movie goes, it's almost like they're trying to do the ultimate version, where she's this bad-ass girl with a red coat on, and she does cool things with her powers. But then she plunges into the water, and they're like... It's like someone's gone, yeah, she's going to die here. And everyone's like, wait! We need to make her blind and disabled. Why? Because that's what the fans want. And everyone's gone, oh yeah, shit, how do we do that? We won't kill her, we'll have to plunge, disable her, and we'll blind her real quick. It's so they can't make up their mind which Madam Web they want to do, and then it's so forced. It's so forced. Right at the end, we see her in the wheelchair, which, by the way, looked like she had something stuck up her ass and forced her to sat like that. Yeah, it looked horrible. She had these big-ass glasses on her face, which made Cyclops look like a fashion sense. What the fuck was that? And, like, it's little things like when they're like, oh, Ben's gonna like being an uncle because, you know, he has no responsibility. And then she just goes, oh, well, we'll see. With a smirk on her face. What the fuck does that even mean?
I like how they alluded to characters without actually saying their names. It's like, oh, you know, who's a special girl then, or special woman?
He's like, no, buddy, I'm just shagging her.
And then she goes, oh, is that serious, huh? And it's like, just say her name.
Yeah, in it.
And it's like, oh, when she gives birth to you know, baby Peter at the hospital, which they all had to be there for some reason.
Yeah.
Like they can't say Peter Parker. They can't. They're all kind of deciding. Like she has that whole like kind of birth.
Yeah.
Thing, you know the what they have, the baby shower thing.
Yeah.
And
is it Jonathan? Not just fucking say it's Peter. And then, because the thing is, they could have made it a joke about it as well. They could have gone, oh, his name's Peter. And then one of the girls could have gone, you're only saying that because Peter Parker sounds cool. Or you're only saying that because it's PP, his initials are PP, or, you know, do something like that. It's not hard. It isn't difficult. Sony is just money making because they have characters.
I think they're starting to do the rights and they can't say the names or something like that, which is very stupid. But
it's so dumb, bro. It's so stupid.
It begs the question: why was the film even made at that point? Then, you know.
Well, it's like Sony and Marvel arguing now. That like literally Marvel are threatening to take him to court. That's how bad it's got. And it's confusing now because we're at this stage where they don't know what they want to do with Spider-Man 4, and that's the reason. And we literally had this conversation several times the last couple of weeks. It's not hard having 2 Spider-Man exist at the same time. We have Tom Holland.
Done it with Batman.
Yeah, exactly. We have Tom Holland. We had the Joker movie and the Batman movie. They're not connected. We have Tom Holland, and he can stay MCU. We have Andrew Garfield, who, by the way, was made by Sony, and he even sat there and went, in No Way Home, I'll stop pulling my punches. Which means he's got darker, which would suit Venom ripping people's heads off, Carnage killing people, Craven killing people, Madam Web trying to be whatever the fuck it's trying to be. It would fit in. Just make Andrew Garfield the Sony Spider-Man. Because this is the thing about, like, with Andrew Garfield. Everybody wants him back now. Amazing Spider-Man 1 came out. Everyone was like, it's alright. Yeah, okay, it's a new Spider-Man. We'll accept it. You know, Batman's done 1,000 times. Superman's been done 1,000 times. Amazing Spider-Man 2. Harry Osborn being Green Goblin was not the best. Gwen Stacy died. Everyone's like, that shit. And then MCU took Spider-Man back. Amazing Spider-Man 2 got forgotten about. Andrew Garfield's now hated and pulled there. No Way Home came out and everyone's like, he's so good, didn't he? I forgot how amazing he was.
He's actually written better.
And it's just like, just make him the Sony Spider-Man. Just share the rights.
I was glad to see Amazing Spider-Man 3. If they brought Andrew Garfield back, I'd happily go see it.
Yep, me too.
I think they could maybe introduce Venom in there. You know, if they set it within the films with like Venom, Let There Be Carnage, etc.
Oh my god! Imagine Andrew Garfield's like dorky expressions and the way that he talks with Tom Holland's Eddie. That'd be so fucking funny to see on screen. That'd be so good if they had a conversation.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. I don't know.
Don't worry, there's too many Toms.
Yeah, there's Toms, there's Chris's, there's so many. And it's just like it'd be such a good conversation between Eddie Brock and Andrew Garfield. Like, it's so good, you know, because I actually find Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man funny. Like, my favourite scene from the Amazing Spider-Man duo is when he's not Spider-Man yet. He's wearing that red outfit with the weird goggles and the dorky hat and stuff. He's not Spider-Man yet. And he's webbed the guy to the wall. And he's like, and he webs him with a nut. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I mean, and webs him again. And so that is so peak Spider-Man. That is such something Spider-Man would do. And it's so funny.
I do like the whole, it's like he gets out a knife. He's like, oh, no,
my weakness and knives. Yeah, the whole scene from when he lands on the floor to the guy giving information, so good. It's such a good scene. But yeah, Sony just need to give up. Sony need to give up bit on. If you're going to do villain movies, do them as villains.
Well, apparently the guy that played Sandman in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, he said apparently Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire are looking to do Spider-Man 4. If you do that, I mean that would make so much.
So so the way that Sam Raimi wanted to do it was Spider-Man 1 do Green Goblin, Spider-Man 2 do Doc Ock, Spider-Man 3 do a thing where Harry becomes like Hobgoblin, Sandman's the main villain, and at the end, kind of like, you know, what's the word? Harry has a change of heart, do that whole scene, make him good again, not good again, you know, let him forgive, die. Fourth movie comes about, Vulture. And Vulture then was going to start stealing things and all this stuff, and Peter was going to get annoyed. And the way that Sam Raimi spoke about it was going to end with Peter just wailing on Vulture. He's all upset, Harry's gone, he can't be Spider-Man, and then he clicks on that he's about to kill someone's dad. An old man, like Uncle Ben. And then we have this whole scene where, like, you know, Uncle Ben, like, he remembers what Uncle Ben says, and then the top dogs went, no. Venom in the cartoons, he's great, making toys and making money. We want to do the same, so he had to make Venom, or else Spider-Man 3 wasn't going to exist.
Apparently, Spider-Man 4, apparently it's going to have Felicia Hardy.
Yeah, so
and it was going to be something like she eventually becomes Vulturous or something like that.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that, you know, Sam Raimi said a few things, Tobey Maguire said a few things. They wanted to do because obviously Felicia's in Spider-Man 3. She's not Felicia, that's Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy's in Spider-Man 3. They wanted her to. One of the stories they said was they wanted Peter to be very strenuous at MJ.
Yeah.
And then be friends with Gwen Stacy, and then have Black Cat in it. So it's kind of like a who does he pick sort of thing, which sounds pretty dumb, no offense. They also brought Felicia Hardy into Amazing Spider-Man 2. She's actually Harry Osborn's secretary. That's actually Felicia Hardy.
Yeah.
So they've actually hinted at Black Cat a couple of times. I think Black Cat is one of the characters that could have a solo film. If done right, she could have a solo film.
What, in the Amazing Spider-Man universe?
If they did the whole thing where Amazing Spider-Man's universe continued, yeah. Because her dad was a thief, her dad was Black Cat first, stole a bunch of stuff, and then she picks up the reins. So it could be a case of, like, maybe she has to pay for her dad's medical bills or something on those lines. Have a Spider-Man 2, that was really dumb, but have a Spider-Man 2 scene where she finds his outfit or something, makes it sexier, quotes, or see if you're going to do a Black Cat movie, they're going to make her look sexy, and then have her go and steal things and actually root for someone being a Robin Hood. Like
the way they're covering up most female characters in films these days, it wouldn't surprise me if she looked like she did in, like, the game.
Yeah, it's true.
Covered up.
Yeah.
But the way that storyline was handled in Spider-Man 1, in the game, Spider-Man one from
Yeah,
2018.
the DLC.
Where like you're talking to like an ex-cop,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah, and it
and
turned
then
out
at
to be
the
a
very
dad.
end, it turned out to be a dad. It's like that was so cool. That was such an amazing thing. And if they did something even closer to that,
Which is weird, 'cause you never actually meet him in person.
No, you don't.
And see,
I like that. I just hope they never do.
This is the thing where, and this goes to Marvel and DC. Actually, it goes to any film really. You don't need big conversations to continue storylines, and you don't need big scenes to continue storylines. Sometimes you only need one set of dialogue. Sometimes action speaks louder than words. There are other ways you can do things. DCEU does not work because there's no continuity in it. The only time there's continuity in it is one, you see a scene of Bruce Wayne protect someone when Superman destroys stuff. But it's not even a scene from Man of Steel. It's a completely new shot scene of Superman destroying stuff. That makes no sense. Then you've got the whole thing of Bruce Wayne's in Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, sorry. They bring in Wonder Woman to revive Shazam. I forgot about that. That's it.
They do, don't they?
Yeah, Wonder Woman revives Shazam and Shazam 2.
Yeah,
that is it. And this is why Shazam 1 and 2 are some of my favourite DCEU films. They stand alone, and they do really well. Makes no sense why they did is there Flashpoint where it's 10 kids? Is it Flashpoint? There's a comic book where instead of Billy Batson, there's actually 10 of them, or however many of them are, 6 or 7. Yeah, that's not actually main DC universe at all, but it still worked. It was funny. I enjoyed number 2. I thought it was funny. Taste the rainbow, mother. That was just gold. And it's just like, I actually enjoyed the last scene where he goes into the dome and fights the woman, and it's like, there's a lot of backstabbing and plot twists, and I thought the old lady would end up being the main villain. No, it was the middle one, and I was like, okay, that was kind of cool.
I still think one of the scenes that stand out in Shazam 2, where she's reading from the letter that they've all kind of written.
Yeah, it's right. It writes what everyone said. Yeah, that was gold. Absolutely.
Everyone in the theatre laughed at that.
Yeah. So, like, and like the Suicide Squad, not the first one, that's trash. The Suicide Squad, standalone, got a bunch of characters, deal with it, they got a story, you'll learn it later. Like, that's actually my favourite version of Harley Quinn, is the Suicide Squad. And things like this. And it's just like...
Are you sure it isn't Birds of Prey?
No, God, no. No, that's a terrible movie. But it's just like Flashpoint. Okay, this goes back to my whole thing of you can't just, change things. When it comes to Flashpoint in the comic books, in the animated movie, how you want to see it, Barry Allen can travel through time by running at stupid speeds. So he does that and saves his mum. That makes a pebble effect and it changes everything. Bruce Wayne is the one who dies in the alleyway, and Thomas Wayne becomes Batman, and Martha Wayne goes absolutely nuts and becomes the Joker. Aquaman and Wonder Woman get asked, look, we want you guys to join the US military union war, whatever. They're like, no, fuck you, we're going to go war with America, and then end up fighting each other. So the Amazonians and the Atlanteans are now at war. So what do? They get Hal Jordan, who instead of going to Oa with the Green Lantern ring, went up to the military and went, right, I'll be your weapon, and then they joined the war. So you got Earth version of Green Lantern's army versus the Atlanteans versus the Amazonians, and everyone else is just thrown in the middle. Cities are decimated. Superman was kidnapped as a baby and locked in a room full of red sun energy. He doesn't exist. He's a scrawny old little fucker because he's never seen the light of day. The world's gone to crap, all because Barry Allen decided to save his mum. So what does the movie decide to do? Change something of nothing. What Flashpoint should have been is the Civil War movie. Captain America Civil War is the turning point for the MCU. The teams saved the day twice. You got new superheroes around. Blah, 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 blah. What is Civil War? It breaks everything. Tony and Cap are no longer friends. The Avengers is no longer a thing. We now have runaways. Certain superheroes who decided to team up with Cap are now locked away in their own houses. They can't leave their house. Blah, blah, blah. It affects Ant-Man and the Wasp. It affects Infinity War. Literally, Endgame starts with Tony screaming at Cap, we said we'd stick together, blah, blah, blah. It affects years' worth of the MCU. That's what Flashpoint should have been, because at the end of Flashpoint, when he comes back and stops his mum from being saved, and then he sets everything back, there are still things that get changed. Someone loses their dad. Someone who had a brother no longer has a brother. Shit like this. Yeah. It's still... That's what Flashpoint should have been. Not the first Flash movie! This Flash is one of my favourite DC superheroes. The Flashpoint storyline is fantastic. It's one of the reasons why I love the multiverse. And they fucking made it the first Flash movie! Yep. It annoys the crap out of me. I haven't even watched it.
It was something. It was a film. It was not a very good one.
Well, I've seen the bad guy is the younger Barry. He calls himself Dark Flash and everything, and he keeps going back in time trying to like realize. And it's like, no, they put Supergirl in it for no reason. And okay, yeah, they brought back what's his name? Batman.
Oh, Michael Keaton.
Thank you. They brought back Michael Keaton Batman. Awesome. Love Michael Keaton. One of the best Batmans. Don't care what anyone says. Tim Burton did a fantastic job.
Some of his scenes in that film were great. Like, okay, the stuff when they first find him is like kind of got a massive beard. All that was silly rubbish. But when it actually like he gets the suit on, it actually becomes Batman again. He's like, I'm Batman. And a lot of it obviously is going to be like a CGI replacement of him, but it looks so good.
Yeah, but if I shit on a diamond and gave that to you, you're still gonna have shit on a diamond. Yeah. You know, it's like I don't understand. And then the ending when like you see I don't know actually if this is true or not. I've just heard about it. He runs through the multiverse or something, and you see like Nick Cage's version of Superman and all sorts of stuff.
Apparently they got Nick Cage back for this cameo, and apparently whatever they shot with him didn't end up being used. They just used his likeness on a CGI body double thing, and it turns out he was fighting the giant massive spider that he would have done in what was it? Something I can't remember the name of the film that he was going to be in.
Yeah, they're going to put him as Superman.
Superman Lives or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And apparently he said, I never did any of that. When they got him on set, he's like, we were going to do something like something else, a different cameo, but no, whatever they shot with him obviously wasn't good enough, so they just used his face, put it on a body, kind of CGI body double, and just did what they wanted. They didn't care. You can clearly see that this is why DCU failed, because they didn't care. Even more so when The Flash was coming out and Aquaman the Lost Kingdom, because they knew that the time was up. They knew at the time.
So, see, okay, with the animated films that they did, the DC animated films, which by the way, if you guys haven't watched the DC animated universe, watch it. It's really good. It ends with Justice League Dark. War of Apocalypse, I think it's what's called. It's a John Constantine movie, really good. But it ends with Barry. Everyone's like dead or deformed, whatever. There's a few characters left, and they say to Barry, "Do it again." And Barry's like, "No, I can't. I messed it up." Like, no, do it again. So he does Flashpoint again, but this time he changes when Darkseid came, whatever the thing he changed. We don't actually see. We literally see Barry run off. There's a spark of lightning. He's now gone, he's ran so fast he's disappeared, and then everything goes white. What they could have done, which I would have loved and I respected DC for, is if they did that. They had Barry go, I like Bruce Wayne or something, like do Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne go, run, do it. He runs and everything disappears. And then just have it on screen, the DC universe will return with James Gunn or whatever. And then James Gunn's universe is the DCU, just after Barry's fixed everything. That would have been really cool. I would have accepted that. DC owned their mistake. They would have gone, yeah, right, we messed up. We can kind of see you guys not liking it. James Gunn's going to take over because apparently he's good at superhero films. We don't know why, but Marvel likes him. Sorted. But no, they had to do Flashpoint. They did the Flashpoint, and it was just an absolute waste of time.
The whole film didn't resolve anything.
They brought Zod back, and I'm just like, but why? And this is okay. So many people like Batman versus Superman. And I'm going to go on a tangent here for a second, because James knows I don't like Batman vs. Superman. Batman vs. Superman annoys me. It actually boils my blood, because they make Doomsday with Zod's DNA, which makes no sense. And then the one character who can batter Superman to the point he dies is useless, and Superman dies with kryptonite, which, by the way, only kills him when he has a large amount. How the fuck does that even make sense? It makes no sense. And like they just like no.
Yeah.
Like Suicide Squad. The villain for Suicide Squad is one of the members of the Suicide Squad's brother, who no one understands, by the way. And every scene of the Joker was seen in the trailer unless you watch the extended cut, and that isn't even that much more. And it's just like, DC, please stop. Stop trying to be good. Just do what you do best.
I'm glad we're getting a reboot. I'm glad to go see whatever James Gunn's.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh yeah, but there's too many characters. I'm like, Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
No, if you watch the Suicide Squad, we had the first team who all dies in 5 minutes, and then you had the second team. It actually introduces like 11 characters.
I don't understand people that use it, as I said at the beginning of this episode, that, you know, literally audience members are so different today than they were 10, 15 years ago. You know,
and by the way,
culture is
Google exists.
Google exists, exactly.
Yeah, you can simply watch a movie, come back and go, who was the blue caped guy in this movie? Enter, and Google go, oh, you mean this motherfucker?
Yeah, I know.
Ta-da! You now know who it is. It's not hard.
Yeah, but you know, when it comes to James Gunn's new universe, people are going to be a lot more accepting of anyone that appears in that.
Yes.
And I think it's going to be. I could be totally wrong. It could come out and be a total flop. But I don't.
Superman doesn't apply to the very last second, like Smallville.
No, don't do that. That is such a letdown. But no, I think it'll be great. I think there's a lot of positive vibes going in with James Gunn.
Yes.
You know, I haven't really seen any of the other stuff that he did apart from Guardians of the Galaxy. And,
I haven't seen anything James Gunn other than that, I don't think.
Obviously, I watched Suicide Squad. I watched each of the Guardians of the Galaxy films. But going off those alone, he seems more than capable. Whether he's more than capable of creating a whole new universe on his... Well, he's not on his own. He's got Peter Safran. Is that his guy's name? I think it is. But he's not alone on it. There is two of them. So from what I understand, apparently he's going to do more of the kind of back end stuff, the Safran bloke.
Yeah.
And James Gunn's going to be more the kind of Kevin Feige front runner sort of, you know, base of the DCU. So hopefully, fingers crossed, you know, a year and 3 months from now, you know, we'll find out in July of 2025 whether Superman, which is formerly Superman Legacy, is any good. And I honestly, in a way, I can't wait to see what he cooks up.
See, okay, I haven't seen Black Adam yet. I kind of want to, but I haven't seen it yet. Now, that did flop for a lot of people. Mostly because The Rock tried to be a superhero, which I don't know fucking why. Take him away for a second, we had Hawk... Is it Hawkman? It is Hawkman, right? It's not Hawkgirl, it's Hawkman.
Yeah.
Atom and Dr. Fate.
Hawkgirl, wasn't it? She, they were both in it.
I haven't fucking watched it.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
No, I just said that I haven't watched Black Adam.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry, I kind of obviously I was listening there. But no...
Is it both of them?
I think it is both of them, I think.
Atom and Dr. Fate. I've seen the scenes of Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate was the best thing.
But no one but he wasn't explained or thrown. He was just thrown in there.
Yeah,
this is what I'm trying to talk about. It's fine. Marvel and DC need to understand that we're okay with this sort of shit.
I don't really know anything of Dr. Fate that much. And he appeared on screen. I've only seen him in Injustice 2. It's the only thing I've seen him in. So I'm on screen, I'm like, that guy's a favourite character of the film. If the film was called Dr. Fate and versus Black Adam or something, I would have loved it.
See, so when it comes to like throwing characters in there, this is why some of them, like better villains, don't have a lot of like, you know, I'll bring up Killmonger again. We only get one sentence of who he is.
Yeah.
And the way that the sentence was executed was perfect. Oh yeah, you know, we're cousins. No, yeah, auntie, we are. Does the whole lip thing. He's got the markings there, and everyone's like, he's Wakanda. I just remember everyone losing their mind that this badass mofo who just seems to, you know, go around killing fucking Claw and shit. He's actually from Wakanda. The scene from the beginning comes back. He was there. He was a kid when that first scene happened. Holy crap. And it was just fantastic. Ultron. Okay, we see him basically get made, sure. But there's no explanation of why, you know, what was the pinnacle reason why he wanted to drop a city on the planet. Fuck knows, but he did it. It was cool. Avengers saved the day. They killed and it was awesome. The last conversation between Vision and Ultron is one of my favourite conversations ever. You know, it's just absolutely, you know, you're invariably naive. Well, I was only born yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, it's just absolutely... And like, Vision actually says, well, you know, they'll die out eventually, you know, all beautiful things come. And even Vision knows that the humans are going to fuck themselves over.
Yeah.
And he just accepts it. Okay, cool. And like, that's the attitude that Marvel and DC need when it comes to making movies. They don't need to explain every motherfucker. You don't need to do that crap. A lot of the time, we know who these people are. We play video games. We read comic books. The Arrowverse did phenomenal with their crossovers. The Invasion of Earth X is one of the best fucking crossovers ever. It crossed over all the TV shows at once. And it had, like, 15, 16 heroes, with the CGI being pretty decent. If they can fucking do it with a TV show, I'm sure the fucking DC and Marvel can do it if they pull their finger out their ass.
Well, it's like Vision. I think Vision's probably one of the best side characters of introduced. He didn't have his own TV series.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, now with Marvel, I'm not going to do this DC because DCU's dead. We don't have it for DCU right now. They keep doing end credit scenes and things like this. It doesn't lead to anything. You know, we've got the end of Eternals. We've got the guy with the sword. Where's he?
Yeah.
You know, we've got the whole the end of the Eternals again. We've got the other end credit scene where Harry Styles is in the fucking Marvel MCU, and they're like, okay, he's the brother of Thanos. Why isn't he powerful? Who the fuck's he?
Yeah.
You know, who are these people? What are they doing?
That's the one thing that I don't really quite understand about Eternals is the end credit scenes and stuff. To me, the main film I actually found quite good, but the end credit scenes of Eternals are just something else.
Like, it's like some really dumb. I don't understand why they keep like. Okay, because I see a lot of people bitch and complain. I want to hear your thoughts on this. People bitch and complain about some things not being answered. Like, you know, we've got the celestial dead body, hand and head coming out the ground. Yeah. That's just there now. You know, we've had a gigantic alligator fighting a gigantic crow skeleton thing in Egypt. No one talks about that. We've had, you know, all sorts of things happen. Nobody talks about it. But I'm sat there thinking, yeah, but nobody sat there in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man going, oh, do you remember when the guy with the tentacles robbed the bank in Spider-Man 3? No one talks about this.
Like, people in this world are so used to fucked up shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, half the universe snapped away and was gone for 5 years. No one's gonna give a flying fuck if there's a gigantic crocodile fighting a gigantic bird skeleton thing in Egypt. No one's gonna give a flying fuck now. No one's gonna care.
In fact, everyone pointed fun at the whole Moonlight situation where they started to move the night sky.
Yeah, that was for them though. This is what people don't understand. He didn't time travel the entire fucking planet. He just showed the sky for them.
Yeah, but the thing is, people imagine if that actually did show the whole sky. People in that universe are like, you know what? Something weird's going on. It's not the first time.
No, they'll be sat there, and one person, two mates be stood there. $10, it's Thor. You know, I'll take that. $10, it's Star-Lord. Some shit.
They need to make themselves I think that needs to be kind of pointed out. I think they need to have a scene of two people just sitting there, something weird going down, and they're so aware of this universe being an absolute shit show because of the things that have gone on in it. And you see two people sit on the bench being like, yeah, $10, that's Thor. You know,
yeah.
Pointing fun, because then that shows that they know that, hey, you know, people in this universe, they're kind of used to it, you know, kind of thing. They know that something's going down. It'll probably end up all right because the Avengers are here to save it.
I mean, hell, we've had alien invasions, we've had robot invasions, we've had a guy in a gigantic robot suit, we've had Ant-Man gigantic, you know, we've had a Winter Soldier being blamed for killing a king of Wakanda, you know, we've had Wakanda technically trying to invade the rest of the world, we've had all sorts of bollocks. No one's gonna care. No one cares.
No one would care.
I don't understand why people are fussed at. And this is the issue with things like this. The fan base does not help.
No.
The fan bases don't help. I think that's the problem here with a lot of this sort of stuff is the fan base does not help with anything.
No. This is why I've kind of detached myself from a lot of the fan base. Going off onto another kind of fan base for a split second is Doctor Who. For years I've always loved Doctor Who.
Yep.
Not so much recently, the writing and the direction of it has gone completely downhill, even with Russell T Davies' return, and a lot of people like it, and that's good. Who am I to yuck someone's yum? You know, if you like the new stuff, good on you.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't. But kind of going back to like the original stuff, like the classic Doctor Who and the new series Doctor Who, when I'm kind of voicing an opinion on any platform, whether it be Facebook or Twitter.
Sorry, X. Sorry, X.
X
For those sorry.
I immediately get shot down for it. And that is not the type of fandom that screams welcome. People need to voice opinions and be like, well, that opinion's different to mine, but I still accept it.
Like that's just the world we live in now, bro. Like that's everything. Like, okay, Power Rangers. I'm a huge fan of Power Rangers. That's how I know half the people I've interviewed so far. That sort of stuff. And like people make a post about like the original team of Power Rangers are like the strongest. And I'm like, no, they're not. They are not the original. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are not the strongest team of Power Rangers. Oh my god, I've been called a racist. I've been called sexist. I've been told to go kill myself. I've been told all sorts of stuff just because I commented on a post and said the original team of Power Rangers are not the physically strongest team of Power Rangers. I'm like, what is wrong with people? And I believe that's half the issue of, like, all this stuff is Disney and Warner Brothers are trying to play a game of checkers when the fans are playing a game of chess. It's not going to work, and sadly, no matter what happens, it's always going to be like that. But like, we do have golden gems like Infinity War, Endgame, No Way Home, The Batman, The Dark Knight, Joker. Are golden gems out there. It just takes a lot of bullshit to get to those, and then we have things like Madam Web. Madam Web could have been. All these films could have been great. Imagine if Fantastic Four. Sorry, Fan Four Stick. Imagine if Fan Four Stick was.
How dare you call it Fantastic Four?
Imagine if Fan Four Stick was a dark, grittier version of Fantastic Four, but it was good. Because I will say this about Fan Four Stick. You get the plot of Fan Four Stick, you get the plot of Fantastic Four. They're exactly the fucking same.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. Reed Richards runs away for a year. That's the only fucking difference! It's exactly the fucking same.
What a universe it would be if Sony films were actually good, and like old Fox films were actually good, like kind of Fan Four Stick. But,
say that, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh yeah, no, like there are diamonds in the rough. Kind of thing, like Deadpool 2, X-Men First Class. I like a lot of the old. People go, not Phoenix. What was the third X-Men film? Last Stand, wasn't it?
Last Stand, yeah.
Like a lot of people shit on it. I like it.
I like it.
So
I liked it. So I have two questions, and they're not really related. I was just wondering your opinion on it. What's your thought on the fact that we've only got one MCU film this year? They seem to be taking a hiatus. Like, I think it's good. Honestly, I think they needed a break.
I honestly think when it comes to the next year with Marvel, it's good that they're slowing down. They're looking at the quality, which is what they need. We don't need, as previously discussed, don't need a Disney film or whatever for every single character. Slow down. Give us quality over quantity. Everyone's going to appreciate it more. And I think it makes the hype for Deadpool. It's one MCU film this year. One MCU film. That theatre is going to be packed.
Yep, Marvel's making it
theatre is going to be packed.
And also, they picked a good one. It's bringing Deadpool into the MCU. They're bringing back Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, the only Wolverine we've ever seen in live action. Yeah. He's the reason why I've named my son Logan. And not only that, he's wearing his costume. Yep. Not the black thing we saw in X-Men Trilogy, the actual yellow and blue, he's wearing it. And we've seen it in the okay, we only seen it for a split second. He's wearing it.
They nailed the feeling in the trailer.
Yeah.
To me, like, if the film turns out like the trailer, in terms of Phil, but they've nailed it.
The really good thing is as well is it's TVA, which links it to Loki, which isn't mainstream MCU. It's the TV show MCU, which is a good way to do it. But it also feels like Deadpool. It feels like a Deadpool movie. Yeah. You've got Darky Joe. Like one of the very first jokes he makes is fucking Dark. And what else? What was it? The dildo joke?
Like,
innit?
I'm not. I'm used to like being pegged or pegging.
Oh, I'm used to pegging, but not Disney. No, and then looked at us. He actually looked at us as well. Like, but Disney is
fantastic.
So like it feels like a Deadpool film, but you can tell it's slowly connecting to the MCU.
Yeah.
And I think that's a smart move. And I've come to appreciate the fact that they're doing one movie because, and I spoke to my business partners Mark and Willie about this, where since the 1st of November, I think since like the end of October, I've written 60 something chapters. I haven't stopped. I've written over 60 something chapters. By the end of March, it will be at 80 something. I'm fucked. I've burnt out. I've got ideas flying in tomorrow, but writing, I'm dead. So in April, I'm taking 2 weeks break. No writing. I'm just going to write down some ideas and that's it. I'm not actually writing any chapters. 80 something chapters in less than 5 months is mad, by the way. Willie is one of my best friends. He's my parabatai. But holy crap, he's only uploaded like 8 stories in the last like 5 months, something like that. Maybe not even that. I've done 60 something. That literally, Willie made the joke of I'm the porn star of story writing. Because and not only have I written it, I've recorded, edited, and uploaded that many as well. I'm dead. I can't physically write anymore. And I now understand and I appreciate the whole idea that Marvel's taking a year hiatus. Do it. I'm glad that DC's taking a whole year to come out with Superman. Because that means there's attention going to Superman. There's attention going to the rest of Marvel. Thank you. This is what we need. 3 movies a year is good. But only when it's like, Doctor Strange 3, Black Panther 3, Spider-Man 4, whatever. If it's a big thing, like Deadpool coming to the MCU, Avengers, you don't need 3 films a year. Just give us that one big thing. Make the money.
Even though we've only got one MCU film this year, and like the Sony stuff is kind of off to the side.
Yeah, forget Sony. Talk about the MCU a second.
But like, even though we've only got one this year, next year's going to be great.
Yeah.
Not only got the MCU stuff, we're going to get a DCU entry.
Yeah.
Where we're going.
Isn't it just called the DCU now?
DCU.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, it sounds better. But DCEU. Fuck off.
But we've got Daredevil Born Again.
Yep.
And I'm so glad that they're just making it season 4 in everything but the name, everything but the title. Is literally Daredevil season 4, how it was ever since the creative reboot that happened at the end of last year because of the writer's strike and stuff. It is now essentially what they should have done in the first place. 10 to 13 episodes. Darker, grittier, more grounded.
Because in Daredevil, they actually mention like certain events that happened in the MCU as well, haven't they? Didn't they? Yeah. So like they could. We've always said they could easily just make it MCU. Spider-Man isn't going to know all the superheroes in New York. The Avengers aren't going to know all the superheroes.
It doesn't need to be.
Yeah,
you don't need.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to connect everything. It's cool when it happens, but it's happened so much now. Like I love chocolate ice cream, but if I'm going to eat chocolate ice cream every single night for a month, I'm going to get bored of chocolate ice cream. I'm going to want a different flavour. Exactly. And that's the thing. We love crossovers. We love it when Endgame had Cap on your left, and everyone came out. It was the holy crap, they're gonna win moment. It was holy shit.
Less is more effective.
Yeah, and Doctor Strange versus Wanda. That was cool because one of the Avengers are a bad guy, and it's our lovable Wanda who's just been tormented. All that. She's a bad guy. Holy crap, that was cool. Spider-Man: No Way Home. They did something different. They brought back the 2 previous Spider-Men into it. Holy shit, mind-blowing. But when you do it constantly, over and over, stop. I mean, Captain America Civil War isn't even a Captain America movie. It's one of my favourite Marvel movies, but it's not a Captain America movie.
It's like taking a big team like Fantastic Four and then mixing it in with the X-Men. It's like, you don't need to do that.
And then the Defenders.
It's like, you don't need to do that. The Fantastic Four on its own is a big team. Obviously, it's only 4 people, but those 4 people are recognisable.
Yeah.
They can carry a film. They can carry multiple films if they wanted to. You can have, another character on the Avengers or whatever show up in the Fantastic Four. Not in the first film, in the MCU, because it's going to be like a period piece, isn't it, in the 60s. Apparently.
Yeah. But, apparently they're using the quantum realm. That's how apparently that's
that's fine.
Which makes sense though, because Mr. Fantastic is a genius. The 3 biggest I wouldn't even call Tony Stark even the top 3, but a lot of people consider Tony Stark, Hank Pym, and Reed Richards the 3 biggest geniuses in Marvel. Yeah. I wouldn't even count Tony Stark in that. I'd say Hank Pym and Reed Richards, because Hank Pym made Ultron in the comic books, not Tony.
Yeah.
It wasn't Tony Bruce, it's Hank Pym. And so it's those 2 are the super smart people. But okay, so I just thought I'd explain something here for a second. We've just said that we not every character needs explained, but then we've also just said not everything is crossed over. What we mean by that is, if you want to introduce new characters, you don't need a 6-episode miniseries for Miss Marvel, for She-Hulk and all that. We don't need things like that. And then when we're talking about crossovers, what we mean is, we know who Doctor Strange is, he's got a movie, but he doesn't need to show up in a Spider-Man film. It doesn't need to happen. It does. Iron Man in Captain America Civil War kind of made sense, but that shouldn't have been a Captain America movie in my opinion. That should have been an Avengers film. But still, not everybody needs to be in everything. It's just like, yes, you have a universe. Yes, they're connected, but you don't need to prove it all the time. It doesn't need to be proven. One of my favourite things about Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is American Chavez. She's thrown in there, you had a quick introduction, she knows a Doctor Strange, not the Doctor Strange, she knows a Doctor Strange. She falls into 616, oh hey Doctor Strange, you want to adopt me as your little sister or whatever? Oh yeah, cool. That's literally it, that was awesome. That's how the rest of the characters should have been done. If they fucking Universal stop being a cunt and let them make a Hulk movie, there you go, just bring She-Hulk into them. Not odd.
Yeah, it does feel unnecessary.
Because the way they could have done She-Hulk would have been really funny. You could have had a Hulk film, have Hulk fight someone, the screen freezes, and because She-Hulk can break the fourth wall, she's been doing it longer than Deadpool, you can even have the whole screen freezes, everyone's like, eh? Make it look an old movie with it flickering and stuff. Have She-Hulk walk out and go, whoa, okay, hang on. Before this scene happens, I need to tell you something. And then have a few flashbacks to how she becomes She-Hulk. Then she can go, right, now that you understand who I am, this can continue. You'll see me in a second. And then have them carry on fighting, and then She-Hulk pops out. We don't need 9 episodes of her twerking with Megan Thee Stallion.
That was 9 episodes. That was 9 episodes.
Dude, that was 9 episodes. I can't.
It was so bad, my brain cut out.
I can't even. All I can remember is she shags Daredevil. Okay, there's 5 episodes before she gets her suit. She twerks Megan Thee Stallion, and the CGI for the last vision looks like a snot. That's all I remember.
It's fucking terrible. I don't know what they're doing with that.
Oh, I don't understand.
What is your leading into kind of films that are coming out the MCU?
Yes.
What are your kind of top 3 favorite kind of projects that are coming out in the next couple of years for the MCU?
Are we talking about movies, TV shows, or overall?
Anything.
Okay. I won't include Deadpool and Wolverine because that's just a given. I'll talk about next year.
I can already tell you that Thunderbolts is not going to be on either of our lists.
Oh God, no! Fuck that.
Sounds terrible.
It's now just another fucking female-led movie.
Oh, it is. It literally is. I've got the list here.
Oh, have you got it? Okay, but I'll answer the question in just a second.
I've got the list.
Give me the list. Go on. I don't know the list.
For the Thunderbolts, right?
All right, go on.
The roster in terms of the film reportedly been revealed. So this is most important characters, the least important characters.
Right, okay.
You're going to notice a trend, right? A little trend. So the first one, Yelena Belova.
Love her. She's awesome. Okay,
that's fine.
That's
the most important character.
She's one of the best characters in the TV shows.
Second most important character, Val.
Val?
The
woman who's collecting them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. She's the Nick Fury of this team.
Third, Sentry.
Sentry? The fuck's Sentry?
Oh,
right, yeah, okay. Yeah, but that also makes no sense. That he shouldn't be in this sort of storyline, but okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's a guy. Okay. Unless they
gender bend him, yeah, they do the H1, sure.
Fourth, Ghost.
I don't understand why she's in
Don't
this.
know why she's in it.
She's hanging out with a giant man.
Then it's Taskmaster.
You mean what? Wait, no, hang on. Taskmaster's in the MCU.
Yeah.
Taskmaster's in the MCU.
Yeah.
Because that is not a fucking. That is not
fake.
Fucking Taskmaster.
The fake Taskmaster.
No, do you know what they should do? What they did with the fucking Mandarin. What they did with the Mandarin. This isn't Taskmaster. This is, because they fixed the Mandarin problem.
And then the last 3 important people of this group. US Agent.
Right.
Bucky Barnes.
Which makes no sense.
Getting cucked again, just thrown off to the side.
He's just being teased the entire time, isn't he?
He's just been thrown off to the side.
His characteristic portrayal dick must be fucking throbbing by now.
And then Red Guardian. So do you notice a trend there? Every male character apart from Sentry is at the bottom.
Yeah, I understand. Sentry's gonna be like the what's the word? MacGuffin of the movie.
Yeah,
he's the MacGuffin of the movie. He's literally gonna be the reason why the film goes on. Like maybe he's in crisis or something.
I'm not looking forward to it. I mean, my most favourite thing, you already know.
It's Daredevil Born Again. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to include Deadpool because that's a given. That's this year. I'm going to go from next year. Yeah. Daredevil Born Again. I haven't watched all the Netflix shows. Daredevil and Punisher, they're my favourite ones. I'm really glad Punisher's coming back at some point too because he's the Punisher to me. He's fantastic. I'm so glad. I can't wait to see what they do with him. I can't even remember what the fuck has actually been announced. I want to say Fantastic Four, but there's not enough for me to go on other than a picture.
I think
I like the idea that it's in the 60s. That's kind of cool because the Avengers comic books actually came out right about that time.
I got faith in it simply because Mrhotshot118, who did WandaVision.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I have faith.
I
got my faith in it.
So going off that, I'll say Fantastic Four. I kind of want to say the Avenger films, but it all depends on how they deal with Kang.
I think they're going to draw. I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to wrap them up.
Stop. Okay, so we are going to end this episode real soon because we've been going on for almost 2 hours. But I really have to stress this. Wakanda Forever should not have happened. As much as I love the film, it was pretty good. It was a dedication to T'Challa, which is really sweet.
Touching tribute.
Yeah, and the scene where she has the meeting your ancestors and it's Killmonger, holy fuck, that was good. That was a scene. It should not have happened. And the reason why I say this is this. The actor of T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, he sadly passed away, he actually said to Kevin Feige, and Kevin Feige's actually admitted this, he actually said to Kevin Feige, just recast me. Just recast me. Do not kill me off. Keep T'Challa alive. He's the heart of Wakanda. He's the connection to Captain America. You know, he knows the Hulk. He just keep my character alive. So what do? They kill him off in a really bad scene, and they fucking killed him off. What the Chadwick Boseman even said, don't kill off my character.
Then the joke
so they shunned him really badly.
The joke of it is that they then bring on his son. That's going to be called T'Challa anyway, and it's like, well,
what's the point? Yeah, exactly. Like they should I'm so annoyed. And with Kang, I actually do really enjoy him as Kang. Whoever John something in it.
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah. Obviously, he's in trouble with in-law and stuff. That crap. I do. Yeah, I do really enjoy him as Kang though.
He was very.
We haven't seen him as evil Kang. Like we haven't seen him as the Conqueror.
Yeah.
I would have been curious. But his betrayal of He Who Remains and then the version of Kang in Loki season 2, they're completely different people. Sometimes you wouldn't even say they're the same person.
Yeah.
Holy crap, he's got acting diversity. He's got skills, man. That is what we need for a Kang. And what's really annoying is they're doing Wanda's kids. And they're doing apparently they're doing Iron Lad, apparently, I don't fucking know. But apparently they're trying to bring in Iron Lad and stuff like this. One of the Young Avengers in the comic books is actually a Kang variant and stuff like this, and it's just like he Who Remains in season 2 is actually my favourite scene right at the end where Loki cut and he's like, I knew all this would happen, you're wasting your time. That was just phenomenal. He's so good in it. Like, he's a joker, but he's devious at the same time. He balances those two really well.
The whole scene where he's like, and around and around.
Yeah, and it's just like
kind of thing. It kind of reiterates that fact that he knows there is no escaping.
And the thing is, with Kang, it's the perfect character to recast because variants look different.
Yeah.
Okay. Doctor Strange, for some reason, all the Doctor Stranges looked exactly the same. Just bring in another fucking actors, not hard. 3 Spider-Men look completely different. Loki and Sylvie are the same fucking person, even though they make out, which is really gross, by the way.
Glorified masturbation.
Glorified masturbation. It's they're the same person in different universes. We've had that sort of stuff happen. When Kang the Conqueror comes onto the screen, just say he looks different because I forgot Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. he's actually my favourite part of that movie, is him. Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania, he was awesome. Not exactly a fan of fucking MODOK, but I'm not going to mention that because I will actually break a window by screaming, because that really fucking infuriates me. But he was really good. He's my favourite fucking thing in that. Just when Kang the Conqueror comes on screen, and we've got several Jokers in the cast. There's Spider-Man, there's Star-Lord. We've got, even have it be Thor, for fuck's sake. Someone go, hey, why'd you look different? And he can go, I'm a different variant, you dumbass. Like, just make it as a fucking line so people know what they're dealing with.
I think they don't understand that audiences are more accepting.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sorry, but Superman Returns is the same Superman as Superman 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's exactly the same, but it's played by a different fucking actor. And, like, people accepted that, technically. Just deal with it. It's not hard.
Very, very quickly, before, like, this ends, I'm going to say...
Eventually.
But I think very quickly, I'm going to state my 3 most anticipated.
Go.
Daredevil, Born Again.
Yep.
Obviously. I love the Netflix Daredevil series and the Punisher. I watched all the Netflix series, but Daredevil, just the writing, the acting, the everything is chef's kiss, you know. And then, obviously, Fantastic Four. Recently got the cast announcement. Not everyone's a fan of Pedro Pascal. I'm willing to give him a chance. He'll look a bit weird.
I don't mind it being Pedro Pascal. I just think, I'm afraid that Pedro Pascal is going to be the next...
You'll just say Pedro Pascal.
No, I'm afraid that it's going to be a case of, we need a male, strapping, good-looking male lead. Pedro Pascal. You want to do a horror movie where the male lead kicks ass to a big demon-looking thing? Pedro Pascal. You want a romance novel where the dad comes back at the end? Pedro Pascal. Everything's going to be Pedro Pascal.
He literally is the default game character.
Yes, he is. Exactly.
Like,
that's what I'm afraid. I loved him as Joel, and what I've seen of Mandalorian, he's really good in, and things like this. I'm just afraid he's going to be in everything, and then I'm going to get bored, and then I'm not going to like him anymore.
And then
watch him now. He'll be like, Robin or something.
I could say the Avengers. I want to see what they do with Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, Spider-Man 4 would be on my list, but the problem is, are we ever going to get a fucking Spider-Man 4 at this point?
It's up in the air, but, I'm willing to bet that, obviously, in business, money talks.
Yes.
And, they're going to throw money at each other, and they're going to be like, fine, you do what you want.
Alright guys, we're going to leave this episode here. We've rambled on for a long time. So yeah, James, Jay as I call him, will come back at some point in the future. I actually have a plan of talking about video games next time. We're both gamers. We game a lot actually.
Play a lot of Helldivers
at the moment, yeah. So if you want to hear more of me and Jay ramble on, go check out Tiger Online. I've done some videos with Jay, and also check out Tiger Broadcasting. I've live streamed with Jay on there as well. We talk. We're best friends. We talk every day. We have lots of opinions about lots of different stuff. And in the next couple of months, I'll have them on again, and we'll do video games, and we'll ramble on for 2 hours about that. I'm sure.
Who knows? We'll break the record next time. It might be a 3-hour podcast. I doubt anyone would listen to it in a 3-hour podcast. But we'll give it a shot,
And then I really want to do, after Deadpool Wolverine come out, I want me and you to come back on the podcast and just talk about Deadpool.
There's going to be a lot to say.
Yeah, so expect, so that's the end of July, right?
End of July, yeah.
So end of July, beginning of August, whichever Monday comes out after that, we're going to do a Deadpool Wolverine podcast episode dedicated. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Jay's been my guest.
Well, thanks for having me on the podcast.
Finally, it took a little while.
Threatening me at the beginning, we're saying I can literally punch him. He's in arm's reach.
He does have a YouTube channel.
I do, yeah. I don't really upload there often. It's something that I've had for years, and I used to have like a really passion for YouTube once, but now I've actually got a full-time job, and
he's not like me. He has a life. I just sit in front of a computer screen all day.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, you're doing pretty well on your dad role and everything like that.
Oh, he had to compliment me for once. Cheers. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Of course, check out the Zero to Hero podcast. If you give a dad a podcast, make sure you check out the 3 Ranger Bro stuff. I've been your host, Tiger. This is the Tiger Nexus podcast, and I shall see you guys in the next one.